I do love keeping people in suspense. How's it going, everybody? I am the Uncanny Omar. You are watching Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And I am not alone. Joining me again is my buddy Crisis. How are you, Peter? How is life? How is everything? Let's talk.
I'm so happy to be here with you. I've missed you a ton. We need to catch up. Sorry,
Hey,
everybody, for watching live that we started late. I just haven't seen Omar. And I miss all the minties too. So I'm so happy to be here talking about something we love, which is a whole pile of new Marvel Omnibuses coming out in the back half of this year. I mean, the only thing better than that would be like a poll about every omnibus that could ever exist. That's the only thing that could be better than this.
Woo! Working on it. And speaking of polls,
coming soon.
The Marvel Epic reprint poll is going on right now. If you haven't voted, make sure to vote because the voting ends on Friday, February 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll announce the top 20 next week. As much as it makes Omar wince with pain, old man Logan. Oh yeah, old man Logan. Ooh, I knew
we're gonna get to it. I have so much to say, Jasperetti. So much to say.
I'm glad one of us does. Hey, Omar and Peter, amazing team of chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, and thank you for all the love that you all showed our video of Peter's amazing slideshow and talking about how to collect X-Men in omnibus format. It's one of the best performing live streams, and it shocked me because it's 4 hours long. And I thought, woohoo, ain't nobody want to pay attention to us, but thank you all so much for that. And I know people have been asking us for more, and I'm pretty sure we will come back for more. I'm ready to talk about the Blood Hunt Omnibus. You probably are, Hunter. I can see by your name even. The hair is amazing. Peter, your hair is amazing.
Thank you.
Epics are for people who actually care about their spines and don't care about book spines. Probably true. And don't hold back. That was a phenomenal stream. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Logan Wayne, how are you doing, my friend? I see so many friends. I haven't even been able to say hi to everybody. I saw One Wheelchair X. I saw Omnibo, friend of the channel, Omnibo. So many people. Max, one of my guests.
Oh, One Wheelchair X. Love this guy.
One Wheelchair X just did an amazing breakdown of Age of X-Men Revelations on his channel. If you have not started reading Revelations, and then also a breakdown of this new era and like what books to start on. So I haven't been doing X-Men lately. I trust him. Like if you normally trust me, I'm telling you, I trust him. So if you're trying to keep up with X-Men on a monthly basis, that's the channel you want to be following.
Whoa, the 4-hour video is the one that you started watching this page. That's crazy. Thank you for being here. Wow. I guess the rest of them aren't as long. Yeah. Thank you so much, James, for posting the channel. There's so many Marvel Omnis I need to buy this year, and the full DC catalog hasn't even been released. Yeah, wait until that drops, man. It's gonna be like, whoa, I gotta start budgeting. Decisions have to be made, and we're eating good. I just interviewed Stephen Bissett and Jim Rugg and Chris Stevens yesterday. They're putting together a amazing Kickstarter for Tyrant. But the best part about that interview for me was just talking and praising about the times we are living in of collected editions, where we can have things like Tyrant, where we can have things that I remember vaguely at the comic book store that I worked at in the 90s. And I thought, wow, man, this is going to be nuts. Like one day it's going to be collected. And now, a lot of these things have happened, like ROM and Micronauts and Godzilla, G.I. Joe, Transformers. We're eating good and more to come. Let me go ahead and start sharing the screen. By the way, there were changes, of course, and I share that with you all on the Saturday stream usually. But then this time, this time I decided to make a video out of it for people that don't watch live streams or aren't on Patreon. But all those changes have been added here, and I also they got back to me about some of the other changes that they're still thinking about. So the collected editions team knows about the suggestions that we all had as far as editions. Sometimes they say no to things, and then sometimes they say yes. So that's what's going on. Tyrant, I said Mr. X. No, not that Tyrant. The 1990s. The 1990s, you bastard. How soon will Spider-Woman Omnibus go up for pre-order? I haven't even looked at what month. I believe that one is in November. So that might be not next month, but the following month. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler, how
So
are you?
normal pre-orders are 3 months ahead in direct market, right? Like your normal floppies, normal trade. Generally,
Yeah, if floppies are like, so we just did April, right? That's the month that the floppies are coming out. Then trades are probably around June, July, and then omnis are more like September, October, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
As long as the updates include an X of Swords reprint. X of Swords, hopefully, right? Sheldon from Big Bang Theory here. Psych. Thanks for that. What's on your avatar, dude? Trying to figure it out here.
There's a lot of things happening there.
I thought it was that. Oh, this is so random, but I think you probably remember. What was the image title by John Cleary? Boof? Was that it? Like the McFarlane image universe? He had a McFarlane style. That's what I thought it was for a second. Great Monday just scored Wolverine Omni 2. Wow, 2 through 5 for $184. Getting 6 very soon. That's a hell of a deal. Good for you.
I thought it was just for 2. For all of those for under $200, that is a steal.
Yeah, or is Trouble up next and wins Blood Hunt Gallery? Don't get Hunter excited. All right. Let's talk about some of these books. Let's
do it.
So I mentioned this earlier, but in case you don't know, the catalog has changed both at Marvel and DC. Now we're going to be getting July to December, so it'll be twice a year, and then January to June, both at Marvel and DC. So that's something to keep in mind. Beyond Comics is here. How are you, Beyond Comics? And
Kyoto, my friend.
Oh, they just start. I open up YouTube. Right. Yes. You're
right on time, baby.
Right on time. Right on time. Just jumped in. Is Excalibur Volume 1 in the pipeline? I can't say even if I knew as far as books in the pipeline because I signed an NDA with Marvel. You know, I didn't sign an NDA with DC, but I'm still keeping my mouth shut just because out of courtesy. And
I don't have an NDA with anyone, but nobody tells me anything. So.
Crisis could just let it all out. You all pay him enough. What's Marvel's reaction been? Vocally lukewarm response from fans for this catalog. I have shared everything with them. You know, as I've mentioned in the past, they are very open. You know, even this new era of Marvel Collected Editions wants to know what fans are thinking, and but along with the bad, the good, like with the changes, there were some big voices in the comment section, and people emailing me like, you know, thank you, let Marvel know we thank them for changing these things, or so that I also share that with them. But not everything is good news, right? And I do that with every publisher. I know it's not like I keep. It's not all sunshine and rainbows when it comes to people's opinions, because you know I want the publishers to know what people are really thinking. Hey, Martin Peter, it's been a very long time. Chris, how are you, dude? I've caught a live stream. I'm glad to have you here, man. All right, am I the big voice? You're loud because you are in Australia. Warren, you might be one of. Actually, no, a lot of people are excited about new Avengers. We have thank you. The real question here. Will we ever see Black Sun Magic collected in one of these? I know. Where damn it. Eve of Destruction. That should have been the omnibus it would have been collected on. Genevex is one of the longest most wanted on the poll.
I'll have some thoughts on that when we get to Blue and Gold in this discussion.
Okay. Woo! Yeah. Thank you so much, J. Michael White. And good evening, William. I hope you're doing well. Alf Volume 1. No, not here. All right. Punisher and Fury Max by Garth Ennis, collecting the Punisher Platoon 1 through 6, Fury Max 1 through 13, the Get Fury 1 through 6 Max series, and Punisher Soviet 1 through 6. This was ranked 43 last year in our most wanted Marvel Omnibus poll, and that moved up from 123. By the way, a big shout out to Dom for putting the slideshow together, Dom of X, everybody, and Peter for adding the information about Tiger Eye's most wanted poll.
Now, this is a book that a lot of people have wanted for a while because it fills in some of those series that otherwise kind of would have been lost. It has a lot of it is Punisher's prehistory in the Max universe. So you have to remember Max is separate from regular Marvel continuity. It's a little bit more grounded. It's a little bit more mature readers, but much as in the Marvel universe where Punisher was connected to books like the Nom, in the Max universe, he's connected to having a history of Fury. A lot of those series, some of which were older, like the Platoon, one of which was actually relatively recent, Get Fury in 2024, had never been collected comprehensively in Omnibus. Some people wanted this to have some more connective tissue, like some other Punisher stuff that was flashbacky, but that's already been in other Punisher Max omnibuses, and Marvel tries not to double tip too hard outside of X-Men books. So that's kind of where we arrived here. But yeah, people have been pounding the drum for this, and Punisher Max comics are very, very popular, wouldn't you say, Omar?
Yeah, they always have been. And the Fury Max comics have also been popular. And people, this is the one that people asked me to ask them to add Fury, the original Fury, and then Peacemaker. But I never got an answer, and so I was just assuming the answer was no, because then it was solicited, and this is what it was solicited with. So, you know what though? You know what? They add shit all the time to books without telling old Omar sometimes. Like,
which is getting to be a nice surprise sometimes.
Yeah,
like we literally see the book
Sentry,
hit the internet, and we're like, oh, there's an issue that we didn't know was going to be in there.
So the suggestions we had for Black Panther and Sentry, they did add, but they didn't make it into the solicitation. And they also didn't make it into like the Amazon solicitation. Yeah. So Sentry, because I had a friend of mine who's a retailer, I don't know if he wants his name shown. He called me and he was like, yo, I like the Sentry, dude, but why didn't they add those issues of Dark Avengers or Siege? And I was like, they did, man. He was like, nope, I'm looking at it right now. And I'm like, you're looking at the omnibus? He's like, no, I was looking at the order from PRH. So PRH didn't have the information either. And I was like, dude, I just did a video. I had recorded my video like 2 weeks before he called me and had to tell him. So they add things all the time. There's always hope. They just added, what was it? The Avengers Modern Era, Young Avengers Modern Era Epic Collection, Volume 3, something that was not in the omnibus. They added Avengers World issues 15 and 16.
Hey,
why? That's such a weird Axis tie. And then I forgot about the last few pages of that. So why it's important to Young Avengers, and I don't want to spoil it in case people haven't read it. So anyway, just, how's the saying go? Hope for the best, expect the worst, take what you can get. No, that's a bad saying for this. Just hope springs eternal. That's what it is. Ultraman by Higgins and Groom. This is a funny story behind this one. As far as how long my video had been recorded. This is collecting the Rise of Ultraman 1 through 5, Trials of Ultraman 1 through 5, Ultraman Mystery of Ultra 7 1 through 5, Ultraman The Avengers 1 through 4, Fall of Ultraman 1, Ultraman 1993, which is a big deal. It's never been collected, 1 through 3. And
I saw that. Was that in the initial solicit? I was like, wait, this has the 90s stuff?
So that's what I was waiting on. And this is the fun, like, this is the updated stuff, right? That was the problem. So I was supposed to announce this one September of 2024. I had already recorded the video because it was supposed to be out in early 2025. And then they said, I recorded it, it got approved, and then they said, wait, we can't get the license for the 93 stuff. And there was something else behind the scenes. There was a Spider-Man, what was it called? Ultraman Spider-Man. It was a manga. And it's not in here, so they probably didn't get it. They were waiting on the rights to that, and they couldn't get it. So at least we're getting it now, right? It kind of snuck in there, but coming out now in July.
Now,
yes, it's time
I admittedly,
Ultraman is.
I was just looking at that Body by Leafield comment because, Omar, I've read a little bit of this, but this whole world is so not my normal superhero world. I don't know as much about the Japan superhero world. If you had to pitch this in a sentence to the typical Marvel reader of what is Ultraman, how would you describe it?
So Ultraman is a character that transforms into a giant being to fight giant kaiju, but he can only do it for a limited amount of time before his time. So he's got a timer, and then he turns back into a human. All of this, of course, taking place mostly in Japan, where he has to fight giant kaiju creatures. You never watched this as a kid?
No, that whole kind of like Ultraman, Power Rangers, like people who get into big things and fight big monsters.
Whoa.
Kind of went over my head.
You just insulted like a third of the internet. Those nerds.
I'm not saying I didn't like it. I think I was like a little bit the wrong age for it when it hit. I wanted G.I. Joes. Like I wanted like army people or like X-Men. I wanted groups. I wasn't into like.
Yeah, this is old. Like Ultraman's been around since the 70s, and I remember watching it in Peru. We had it in, we had the Spanish dub, and my favorite was the spin-off Ultra 7, and it was really cool. Like, as a kid, you suspend your disbelief, right? As an adult, it's totally a guy in a suit with miniatures fighting another guy in a suit with ridiculous, wires back in the day, I don't know. It was everything. I loved it, man.
I almost said this, Omnibo, and I was like, let me let Omar talk first. But literally, I was going to say, so he's like Shazam who fights Kaiju.
You uncultured bastards.
I think what's interesting about it, here's my pitch, because I've only read like maybe a third of this.
Okay.
My pitch is that if you, like me, like see those shows and the camp factor of like obvious person in rubber kaiju suit like just doesn't make your brain light on fire the way it does Omar. In comics, that camp level kind of isn't there because it just looks like a cool comic. So the thing that was holding you back was ever like the aesthetic quality of watching it. In the comics, it's just like that's seamless. So it's interesting when you take something that's kind of campy on the screen and then you translate it to comics where the budget is infinite, right? So that's my pitch about Ultraman.
So this is the same team, Matt Groom and Kyle Higgins, that did Power Rangers and doing Radiant Black. If you're enjoying Radiant Black, it's exactly this in Power Rangers.
It is very much
a dude in a superhero suit fighting monsters. Except this guy can change his size and also limited amount of time that he can stay that big.
All right, now you know everything you need to know about Ultraman.
Please don't take that out of context. I'm talking about girth. No. All right. Oh let's move on to Captain America Volume 5. Collecting Captain America 215 to 260. Incredible Hulk 232. Marvel Premiere 49. And material from What If 5 and 26. Ranked 130 last year and moved up from 193. For people wondering, this is still not missing, but we are still one more omnibus, really, the J.M. DeMatteis, Mike Zeck era.
Yeah.
To match up perfectly to that wonderful Mark Grunwald era. And holy crap, that is insane. That's come a long way, man. This is awesome. So yeah. Roger McKenzie, the big names in here though are probably going to be John Byrne and Roger Stern. Even though their run is so small, people still like Dawn's Early Light is still a lot of people's like, this is some of the best Captain America. Am I going to get the Matrix of Leadership? Oh my gosh, dude. It's cheap plastic and it plays the touch when you open it up. You goddamn right I'm going to get it. That's amazing. Oh man, I wanted it in light our darkest hour. Oh man, my kids are gonna get so tired of me saying that as I walk around the house all day. But yeah, this is a big reveal. This one made me happy. We have a Frank Robbins cover there on the left hand side, and it's Frank Miller, right? Inked by John Romita, if I'm not mistaken. Chat.
I do not know this material in that depth.
Oh, okay.
But I will say this. We've had this in Epic, which always softens the demand a little bit for these intermediate volumes. But yeah, the fascinating thing is for a lot of these Silver Age lines that we're getting to volumes 5, 6, and 7 in the omnibus, they're about to meet the kind of modern-ish 80s and 90s omnibuses that we have. This one, I think people were kind of wondering, are we ever going to get there? You know, we had Captain America Volume 3 originally announced in 2021, and then we always had the Kirby volume, but we didn't know if they were going to like treat the Kirby volume as one of the numbered volumes. And then I think for maybe the first time ever, Omar, when they announced that reprint of the Kirby volume for 2024 relabeled as Captain America Volume 4. Is that the first time they've ever done that?
Exact same content. Yes, some people were pissed. Some people were pissed and still bought volume 4, and some people were happy because they didn't have the Jack Kirby stuff. And it's interesting because that would have been the third printing of that book, right? Because you had the Jack Kirby Captain America Omnibus without the letter pages, and it was missing, I think, the bicentennial story. And then they reprinted it with letter pages and the bicentennial story, and then when it went back to print, they were like, we're just going to call it Captain America Omnibus Volume 4. So the big question, and this is a great question from Kyle, so will they release Grunwald as Volume 1 or Cap Volume 7?
It's effectively Volume 7 no matter what, because it perfectly matches the Epic mapping, and Epics got there first before Masterworks, so like Epics were the most comprehensive maps. I think at a point there's diminishing returns to relabeling something that is its own 4-volume series as Volume 7, 8, 9, 10, but who knows? Maybe if they have to go back to the Grunwald volumes 4 or 5 years from now, maybe they do, but it's kind of immaterial. Like whether or not it's called Volume 7, it is Volume 7. There's nothing else you could possibly put into it to make it Volume 7.
Peter, I think they will. I think they are going to make it Volume 7. I think eventually they want these books to be in a chronological order, and that will put me out of business because there goes all those reading guides. All those reading orders out the window, baby. But
that's a good thing. You want to live in a world where
absolutely,
they're easy to collect and easy to read.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. We're seeing it with X-Men. We're going to see it with Daredevil. Somebody just said, is that what's going to happen to Daredevil? I think 100% that's going to happen with Daredevil. I mean, we're already getting one issue of Frank Miller's run with original colors. Keep in mind, the Frank Miller Omnibus did not have original colors.
Yeah.
Does that mean, oh, well, I'll just hold off on buying Captain America by Mark Grunwald Omnibus Volume 3? That is up to you. Because if you know that Volume 3 will one day become Captain America Omnibus Volume 9, it's still going to take some time. For anybody that is new to collecting these, this is like your first year collecting, I want you to do something. Pay attention to when this book is coming out and when I announce a Volume 6, because it'll be a couple of years. And then that will kind of get you accustomed to the schedule that these books come out. It's never a sure thing, but I think we've gotten into the trend of like, okay, they're going back to the Silver Age. They're getting some stuff. Okay. Anything else to add about Captain America, Peter?
I don't think so.
Okay. Star Wars Legends, the newspaper strips. Speaking of Epic collections, these have been collected in Epics before. Collecting the early adventures 1 through 9, the classic Star Wars Han Solo at Stars End 1 through 3, classic Star Wars 1 through 20, Star Wars A New Hope 1 and 2, classic Star Wars The Vandalem mission, and the newspaper strips, the Constancia Affair, George Constancia, and the Kashyyyk Deaths, and Planet Cadril. Oh, this went down. Somebody said, "Nah, I don't want this enough."
That low on the poll, the difference of like 1 or 2 votes can really swing things. So I wouldn't get too attached to things dropping in the 400s and 500s. But so Omar, I do not know this material, although I do know a lot of Dark Horse era Star Wars. But is this in continuity to Dark Horse era Star Wars, or is this its own beast?
No, this is its own newspaper strip. This has stuff by people like Al Williamson, like legendary creators and comic strip material. And I think someone that has this, I think this has been previously been printed before in a landscape format. And I don't know who did that because I never owned these. I never owned the Epics either. But it's its own continuity. It's not like in the continuity of Marvel Comics. It's not in the continuity of Dark Horse. Still pretty cool because, I mean, seriously, I'm gonna. It's insane how much Star Wars we have in Epic Collection and in Omnibus format. And I just announced things like the Clone Wars, the Menace reveal, like. Holy crap, there's not much left of Star Wars to collect.
No, we're so close.
Are they good? They're better than the Ewok book. That's all I can. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Maybe I've read a handful. My buddy Dan had those comic strip collections, but they weren't in the landscape. He had like a trade paperback of it. But anybody that has read it can chime in. Wish the Clone Wars had been. Dude, those books are still in print. Okay. Daredevil by Ann Nocenti and John Romita Jr. Volume 2. Collecting Daredevil 267 to 291, Annuals 5 and 6, Spectacular Spider-Man 213 and 214. Material from Marvel Comics Presents 109 to 116, 123 to 130, 150 and 151, and the material from the Marvel Holiday Special number 2. Ranked number 2 in the Tiger Eyes poll, which will be coming up here in the next, few weeks. But this takes us all the way to the beginning of D.G. Chichester's run, which has never been collected in omnibus format. It's only been collected in Epic Collection. And damn, that's a lot of Daredevil also getting love in Omni format. Thoughts about this? Peter, are you a fan of Daredevil by Ann Nocenti? Have you read it? You've got the epics, right?
I've read selected parts of it. I've never sat down and read the whole thing, which is funny because I'm not waiting for the omnibus. I have all the epics. I would say that this is, sometimes we would see a volume 2 and we're like, oh, you could pick it up. It doesn't matter. Here, I really think I would start with the volume 1 just because she starts so much thematically and stylistically in the early part of the run. This has been number 1 for such a long time in the Tiger Eyes poll. And it's been kind of like one of the most demanded books for so long. And we actually never knew if it was going to be 2 volumes or not, because back when this first started appearing on the poll, which was a long time ago, actually this appeared as long as the second year of the poll in 2014. At the time, we didn't know that how epics would map things. And so we didn't know it would include all of those kind of additional annuals and things that Nocenti herself did not write. So there was some thinking like, oh, it could all be one book. Then when they announced the first book last year, it was like, oh, great. They're doing it exactly with all the epics content. So again, this is one of those examples where this could seamlessly be one of the numbered Daredevil volumes because it does not skip anything. And just because her name is on it and Romita's name as well. So that is why we wound up with 2. It's really 2 halves of one complete run.
I did ask about the Typhoid Mary mini and they never got back to me. So it was also during that transition period where the new team was kind of taking over and there was lack of communication, but they are talking to me more now and feedback is going back and forth. So I don't know if he'll make it in time. I would love to open the book up when I get it from Marvel and be like, oh my gosh, they added the Typhoid Mary miniseries. That's awesome. Sometimes they like surprising us. Like, what's Doc Savage issues in the Marvel Team Up book? Like, that wasn't solicited that way. It was a big shocker.
I will say in general about Daredevil, if you look, there's all these iconic Daredevil runs, and Nocenti is clearly iconic to the people who knew it because it got voted so high all the time, but I feel like a lot of people are not familiar with it in collected edition. This is a Daredevil that's a little bit more participatory in the rest of the Marvel universe, not in like a crossover Infinity Gauntlet kind of way, but like you see the Cap's on one of these covers. Like he fights, Blackheart at one point. He's a little bit more integrated into the rest of New York. If you look at the history of Daredevil, it's kind of like the first 80 issues, he's kind of just knockoff Spider-Man. Sorry, Daredevil. Then he's got his period where he's in San Francisco with Black Widow. That's kind of like unique. Then there's the period right before Miller, which I don't feel like is so unique. And then Miller, of course, really brings in everything with the Hand and Bullseye and kind of gives Daredevil his own identity, really, for the first time, truly. This is him continuing to have his own identity, but just being a little bit more integrated into what that identity means at Marvel. And so that would be my pitch. Like, if you want to read a Daredevil that's just a little bit more adjacent to the rest of the things happening in the Marvel universe, not just in New York, that's kind of what Ann Nocenti's run is. And it's dark in a different way. It's not just dark because it's like violent ninja stuff. It's dark because it's creepy. It's dark because it's religious. It's dark because it's heavy and it's dealing with life and death. It's like that kind of darkness.
Brian, how are you, buddy? Brian joined us for our Evergreen stream of Batman. Hope you're doing well, man. Do you guys think we'll get a reprint of Daredevil by Chip Zdarsky Volume 1? I know it's all sold out everywhere. It's not just panel bound, man. It's sold out everywhere. I don't know. I am I'll be at Comics Pro this coming week, and I will be talking to some people. I know for a fact that Chip Zdarsky had a dinner with David Gabriel just recently. And I told Chip, hey, slide into the conversation that your Spider-Man Omnibus is coming back to print, but the Daredevil Omnis went out of print really quick. So we will see. I don't know yet. One of the things that I saw when I announced this was somebody going, oh my gosh, Man, we're almost done with Daredevil with Omni editions. Because I announced Daredevil Omnibus Volume 4, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But no. This goes all the way to 290. Daredevil went all the way to 380 before it was relaunched as a Marvel Night book. We still need the D.G. Chichester run, the Carl Kessel run, the Joe Kelly run. Ben Rabb did a few issues, Scott Lobdell. So it's a ton of, okay, not a ton, I'm sorry. About 90 issues worth of Daredevil. So 2 Omnis after this, maybe even 3. What do you think, Peter? How did we?
I think it's 2. They're going to do that Chichester run all at once, and I think that ends in the like high 20s, right? And then after that, Daredevil isn't really anywhere else. Like if you look at the epic maps, it's very doable in one omnibus. Nor do I think it's very marketable as 2 omnibuses because it's like not a very distinct run. So I think it's 2. But you never know with Marvel. But that would be my prediction.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Can we get some Fall for Great? Can we just call it Daredevil?
I know you call it the Omar Omnibus because you're the one person on the internet who loves it.
Like, I love that book so much, man. It's so awesome, so badass. All right, Ultimate X-Men Omnibus Volume 4, collecting Ultimate X 1-5. That is the Jeff Loeb story. That's the one people wanted added to Volume 3, but they were working on this. And then the Ultimate Comics X-Men 1-33, 18.1, Ultimate Comics Wolverine 1-4, Cataclysm Ultimate X-Men 1-3, Cataclysm The Ultimates Last 10 4-5, and then material from Ultimate Fallout 2-6. This moved up 50 slots in 2025 to 150. This wraps up the era. This is it. There's no more after this. This is the Jeff Loeb relaunching the series with the what I call them, the leftovers after Ultimatum, and then Brian Wood launching the Ultimate Comics X-Men story that focuses mainly on those 4 on the left-hand side. And that's it. Then the Ultimate Universe ends. We get Secret Wars, and we have now a new Ultimate X-Men. Can there be a Weird World omnibus from the classic, the Chris Star, to Jason Aaron's run and Sam Humphrey's run?
We had it mapped for the poll this year, and actually we went into every appearance that Weird World has made in Marvel Universe and looked at if those issues can be excerpted to kind of make one big complete saga of Weird World. So yeah, that was one of the few things we didn't have on the poll last year, and it will be there this year. So make sure it gets more than 1 vote, y'all, if you want to see a Weird World book.
So these questions kind of go hand in hand. Is there any more Ultimate Fantastic Four to print after Volume 2? And then not many Omnis left for the original Ultimate Universe. No, there's Ultimates, not the Mark Miller stuff, not the Jonathan Hickman stuff, but actually it was Brian Wood. Then there's some of those Ultimate Avengers miniseries. I have no idea if they'll ever reprint Ultimate Iron Man. What's another one? Oh, the Ultimate Trilogy, right? Like the Galactus story. They haven't reprinted that in anything. Oh, Ultimate Doom, that kind of stuff. Can we get a Galactus? Yeah, that's the one we were talking about. Plus Cataclysm. Call it Ultimate Galactus. How do you think they'll collect the new Ultimate Universe? Oh, man.
I have some thoughts on that, but we'll get there. So what's really interesting about this book is you could just buy this book. Like this is not one where you need the first 3, because the first 3 is kind of like the full story of the original Ultimate X-Men up until Cataclysm, or not Cataclysm, up until Ultimatum. Then comes this book, and it was really launched as like it's a new team, it's a new status quo, it's kind of a refresh after how dark and grim things got at the end of the first Ultimate book, and it kind of tracks. Kitty is more of a leader. It picks up some plot points about Jean Grey, Wolverine's son, Jimmy Hudson. You can see in the second cover there. So I know a lot of people like the Ultimate Universe because it's to the side of the Marvel Universe and you don't have to start with all of Marvel's history. But even if within the Ultimate Universe, you're kind of threatened by the amount of material that's in those first 3 omnibuses, I think you could buy this. I think numbering it Volume 4 was a good move marketing wise because it's the 4th one in the set and people want them aligned on the shelf. But you really could have called it something different, like
Ultimate X.
Ultimate Comics X-Men The Next Generation or something like that, because it really is a different book. And I actually, that I don't usually like the Ultimate Universe. I do kind of like some of the material in this one. It's just a little bit more my X-Men, but Ultimate, if that makes any sense at all.
Let's see. I like the Arthur Adams artwork at the for that Ultimate X. I think that I didn't like this series, but I will say that it did feel like X-Men, like it was like mutants were not overpopulated during this time. It really felt like they were trying to find a new mutant sometime, like, and it would be very rare that they would find someone new that was still out there. I think that's what was this series had going for it. And then Jimmy, of course, later on shows up in Cullen Bunn's X-Men Blue, which hope that one day we'll get an omnibus for that. Did I pass one up? Let's see. Nope. Amazing Spider-Man by Zeb Wells, Omnibus Volume 2. I just finished reading Volume 1 this past weekend. Collecting Amazing Spider-Man. So they did, by the way, I mentioned this on our Discord on Patreon, but they did change the final content now is Amazing Spider-Man 27 through 60, Free Comic Book Day 2023, Spider-Man Venom, the Spidey story, Amazing Spider-Man Gang War First Strike, the Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man Ultimate Universe, the Amazing Spidey story, and Web of Spider-Man 1, the Amazing Spider story. So this originally had, I think, up to issue 66 is the way that I announced it. And I messaged them, we went back and forth. So I think they decided to finally take out all the Joe Kelly stuff, which makes sense, right? Like the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man, that would begin the Joe Kelly Omnibus of Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's not really of a piece with the Wells run at all. It doesn't pick up any themes from the Wells run. It doesn't have similar art to the Wells run. The Wells run really comes to a very specific conclusion at the end of this book, and that 8 Lives Death thing, it kind of goes on for a while, so it would be a weird ending to this book, and potentially could be the beginning of a Joe Kelly book. Of course, Joe Kelly writing amazing right now, and it is truly amazing. It was one of my favorite books of 2025. I will say this, look, everybody loves to hate on Zeb Wells. Spider-Man is bad. Paul, blah, blah, blah. I think that a lot of that opinion was formed because of the way that the reveal of what happened with Paul and Mary Jane kind of got dragged on to the end of the first omnibus. This back half of the run, it's pretty snappy. It's some Norman Osborn stuff. It's it's like it's like Spidey briefly goes bad, but not in the way that you would think. It's fun. I mean, I just had a good time reading it, but I don't have the hate on for Zeb Wells that everybody else does. I think if you truly despise the first half of that, you're not going to like this any better. But for me, the back half of this was a little bit stronger than the back half of Spencer, just because I felt like the arcs were a little bit more contained and a little bit more fun. Spencer, for me, it kind of just was like one big story that just kept going on, and I kind of lost track of who the bad guy even was at points. This is much more arc-based than Spencer. So if you're comparing, I'd say this has kind of more small digestible stories, but it's got less of one big overarching thing than the Spencer run does.
How do I say what I want to say? Because wow, you said that with such a positive spin.
I like it. I'm one of the few people on the internet that was totally fine with this run.
So I just read volume 1, and I will say this: volume 1 is a quick read. It reads better in collected edition. Is it good? No. Is it the worst Spider-Man? Absolutely not. And you know what? Paul actually is a likable character at the beginning when he first starts off. You're like, wow, this guy feels bad for Peter because Peter's kind of stalking MJ. And like I don't know. It is going to be interesting to see how well it sells. That's the question. Because you know how it is with how the internet works, right? Like it seems like the negative voices are always the loudest. So I'm curious, because this book was selling, that how well volume 1 will sell if we'll go out of print, and then in 3 years' time, people are begging for a reprint of Spider-Man by Zeb Wells Omnibus Volume 1, just like they did with the Clone Saga, and JMS Omnibus Volume 2, which has 2 of the worst Spider-Man stories in it. Not just 1, 2 of the worst. But yeah, read it for yourself. I always suggest that to people. If you don't, I don't suggest getting the Omni. Read the trade paperback, or what's the library app again? Peter, do you remember? You have it in New Zealand?
No.
Okay. There's a digital app that lets you check out books
Hoopla?
free. Hoopla. That's it. Yeah. Who the F is Paul? Oh, don't worry.
Oh, you got a big storm coming, buddy.
You will find out in those first. Actually, he starts off like I said, really nice dude. Then later on, it's like, man, I hate that guy. Would have been awesome if he was the new Venom, though, just to piss fans off. Although, Did you read all new Venom?
I did. Carlos Gomez, great artwork.
Oh my gosh, that cracked me up when he went off on Paul, because it was like,
when Dylan yells at Paul. Yeah,
I loved it. Okay, so
I don't know. Even though my name is Peter, I feel like I identify a little bit more with Paul. He's got the man bun. He's always at the computer. Like, it just feels like maybe he's my avatar in that book rather than Peter Parker.
Don't say that. Paul will return in Avengers Doomsday, by the way. Spider Comics sells. Seen a lot of pre-orders for Spider Carnage.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, Spider Carnage, dude! Spider Goblin. Can't wait for the Hasbro.
You're just saying words now.
Spider Goblin, Gold Goblin. Oh my gosh, what is the Halloween lady? I actually like her.
I love Halloween Lady, Hallows Eve. I've really been. I know
character.
Some people are not into. So here's something I'll say for this. This really begins the kind of like full good guy turn for Norman Osborn. I want to say maybe he had already been a good guy earlier. I guess he was earlier in this run. I kind of like him as like a full-time frenemy of Spider-Man. I know that I'm not as big of a classic Spider-Man nerd as other people. And so some people always want to see him be the villain, but there's just so much fun tension where you like see him helping Peter, and Peter's like every single piece of help he gets, he can't really trust. There's something just exciting about that to me. I know classic Spidey fans are like, Norman should always be bad. Norman shouldn't know that Peter is Spider-Man, but like it just gives me an inherent tension in every single issue that like really keeps me buzzing. So I think that's part of why I've been liking Spider-Man recently, is I really like frenemy Norman Osborn. That works for me really, really well. Oh, wow. Deep cut. Deep.
I love that. That's so true. Dark Reign Norman over any other. Dark Reign Norman is also Tommy Lee Jones Norman Osborn. Let's not forget that. Star Wars The Dark Droids, wrapping up this era of Star Wars in Omni format, but we still need the beginning. This is collecting Dark Droids 1 through 5, Dark Droids D Squad 1 through 4. Oh, freaking excellent little mini, by the way. Star Wars 37 to 50, Star Wars Bounty Hunters, that was my favorite, 37 to 42. The Darth Vader 37 through 50, Dr. Aphra 35 through 50, Star Wars Revelations 1, Free Comic Book Day 2024, and Star Wars 1, or the Star Wars 1 Free Comic Book Day. There was a young lady that always emails me about Star Wars, and she has wonderful ideas. And along with other people that asked me to see if Marvel could ask the adding the Sanasteros story to this. I think they did say no, because I don't remember when the emails were going back and forth. That was one that was in, like, they just took it out of the email chain. So that's probably a no. Probably
also,
because
I kind of feel like they want to let that be exclusive to the Dr. Aphra Omnibus Volume 3, which I understand, because it kind of goes beyond the end of this. So Dark Droids, really, really fun read, really cool artwork. The one thing about all of this is, so this era of Star Wars is all between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? So you have to think this whole book happens with Han frozen in the carbonadium, right? Or whatever it's called. And so some of the big plot points, it's kind of like, wow, don't you think this would have come up in the movie if this happened? Like, basically there's like a droid AI uprising kind of is this story arc. It's very cool to read. And like, it almost feels more Battlestar Galactica in the world of Star Wars. So that is like very, very fun. But then you get to the end of it and you're like, surely this would have come up at least one time in Return of the Jedi. So you got to suspend disbelief a little bit, but it looks really good and it is a very fun read. And then You know, I love to be able to say I am wrong. I mean, I think that's really cool because it means often that somebody had a bigger thought than me. And when it comes to comics, I love to hear that somebody thought of something better than me. And so we on the poll last year were like, I don't know if Marvel's really going to push to the end of this whole era in this book. That seems like a pipe dream. Well, guess what, y'all? We're all living in a pipe because it happened. We're Mario. So this collects all the way through the end of all the ongoing series. This takes everything up to right before Return of the Jedi, and then it continues in comics after Return of the Jedi and Battle of Jakku, which starts off this new era of Star Wars. And the only thing I'll say is, unfortunately, as Omar intimated earlier, we don't have the beginning of the era all comprehensively collected yet. So especially in Darth Vader, which Greg Pak wrote all of, it's incredible. It's paying off things here that you won't have read the beginning of if you are waiting for the omnibus. So now we need kind of like a Empire Strikes Back Aftermath Year 1 omnibus, which will be on the poll this year, because boy, is that Greg Pak Vader series good. So anyway, there's my pitch.
So is War of the Bounty Hunters is what kicked off this era. After War of the Bounty Hunters, we ended up getting the Crimson, what was it called? The Crimson Reign, and then we had Hidden Empire, and now we're getting Dark Droids. So we need that very beginning that will have Star Wars 1 through 12. It will have Darth Vader 1 through 11, Bounty Hunters 1 through 11, and Dr. Aphra 1 through 9. It wouldn't be a big omnibus, but it would be so nice to have all of this era, and they could call it whatever the hell they want to, like Prelude to the War of the Bounty Hunters, or where the hell is Han Solo's body? I don't care. It's just
it's either Road to War of the Bounty Hunters or Empire Strikes Back Aftermath, I think is like but it's good. That first year is very good. I mean, I like this period. I do think the Star Wars book, Charles Soule maybe had like 10 less issues of plot in him than he actually had to write, because it definitely meanders a little bit. But I think the same way about Pak. Like all of these series feel like they were a little bit belabored in the late 30s and early 40s around this crossover to like make it to 50. And then Marvel must have said like, we're going to 50, but they're all very good. Like I not quite as good as that original flight of years between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, but still pretty great. Still really enjoyable and very good art. So yeah, rare full Crisis endorsement on Star Wars.
Yeah, Crisis is not like Star Wars. People.
No, how dare you? How dare you?
Good Star Wars. I mean, the people are commenting about how you replied back on Reddit. So thank you for that, Peter.
Well, you know, my whole thing, and I think Omar too, not to hold us up more, but we both think comics should be easy. Like if you're like, I want to read a great Star Wars comic, that should be easy. If you're like, I want to read the X-Men comics that inspired the cartoon, that should be easy. And I think the whole reason we're on here, other than loving comics, is like we're trying to make it easy for everybody else. So I think, you know, Reddit, I'm glad people are asking on Reddit and asking other human beings, because to ask like any kind of AI answer engine about this stuff, it just doesn't have the contextual knowledge. And I found it will just hoover up anything. Like it'll hoover up maps of books that don't exist yet because somebody like posted about them on a forum. So like ask real people. Omnibus Collectors subreddit on Reddit is a really cool, friendly place. And there's a lot of people with answers, not just me.
And that's one place I don't go because I don't go to a lot of places anymore. I just don't have the energy anymore. I try to answer comments on my videos, and that even takes hours and hours when I get in the mood to answer comments.
I'm a fucking comments gremlin. I want to procrastinate.
Oh, you and I were fighting over who would reply to the most comments on the video we did together. Okay. Now, Omar, status on the X of Swords reprints. I know it has to happen. I know you know things. I do know things, but like I said, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if.
All right, Layla Miller.
Sorry. We need a holiday special comic. No, we do not. Omar doesn't go already because the fame got to his head. He's too good for social. I'm not too good for social media. I'm still in some Facebook.
He's never been any good at social media, I think is the real answer.
Sound like an old man. Just, I think it's wonderful though that there are people are getting answers to questions we all had as beginners, as collectors, to collected editions. Seriously, I think it's wonderful. Marvel Fanfare Omnibus Volume 3, wrapping up the Marvel Fanfare books. Rank 390 in 2025. Coming up, oh my gosh.
Well, because I think people knew it was going to happen. They said in the foreword of the first book, the first of 3 volumes. So I think anytime Marvel like comes out and says we're doing this, people look at those precious 10 votes and they're like, I'm not throwing any more votes its way. It's going to happen anyway. So that happens all the time. Volume 2, except for Nocenti Volume 2, people were like, don't forget about us, Marvel. But Marvel Fanfare, I think people knew it was going to happen. I mean, just look at these gorgeous covers. The work of the artists in these stories is just over the top, phenomenal, amazing.
Yeah, that's what started this whole thing. It was get the best of the best and put them in a mythology series. Unfortunately, by the time you got to volume 3, though, that kind of went out the window when there just wasn't the money to do it. People had moved on to other projects. So a lot of the stuff in here became kind of, what is it called? Oh my gosh, there's an actual term, Peter. It's when they put a story in a storage bin. Marvel and DC.
It's anthology. No, I know what you mean.
Come on.
Now that you described it, I lost it. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, that's what these became. They found them in a drawer and then we're like, oh, let's go ahead and print that in tomorrow's Marvel Fanfare.
Inventory stories. Thank you, G. Roy.
Thank you. We were almost there. We would have gotten there in about an hour.
Nah, I wouldn't have.
Oh man, brain. X-Men Blue and Gold, blood ties on.
Here we go. Let the 4 hours begin.
4 hours. This is the reason why we did the stream. Uncanny X-Men 307 to 314, Annual 18, Adjectiveless X-Men 26 to 35, and Annual number 2, Avengers 368 and 369, Avengers West Coast 101, Cable 6 through 8, X-Men Unlimited 3 through 5, The Wedding Album, What If 60, Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix 1 through 4, X-Men Ashcan Edition. Rank 38, Volume 2, rank. Oh my God, people were already thinking Volume 3, huh? Volume 2, rank number 6. There will be a Volume 2. We just don't know when or what will be collected. Although, if you watch that video Peter and I did, we pretty much know what's going to be in there. Yes.
So look, here's the thing that everybody's asking about this book. Let me try to go through the FAQs real quick. So again, there's a 4-hour video that explains every X-Men flagship ever. It's in the live section of the channel. I think it's some of our best work we've ever done. Go and watch it. Here's the quick FAQs. I'll ask the FAQs. Omar will answer them. Ready? Omar, Is this the same thing as the Wedding OHC? It has the same cover.
No, it is not. This is an omnibus. The OHC is an OHC, and it has different content. Next.
Right. This has some additional issues. It pushes farther than that. Let's see if Omar can answer this slightly trickier one. But Omar, why is the content so similar to the Wedding OHC?
Well, because this is mapped different and similar. Okay, this is a tricky one to answer. Similar because we want those issues collected. That OHC of the Wedding album or the Wedding OHC has been out of print for a number of years, so people haven't had the chance to get those stories in oversized format. I feel like I'm at a job interview.
You are. We're interviewing you for your job as chief of X-Men collections. So
I don't even have an X-Men shirt on. All right, go ahead.
What Omar said is true, but the other thing to remember is that it just happens that that Wedding book was one of the few books that Marvel put out in that whole line of oversized hardcovers that was actually like coherent across both titles. It was the closest to being similar to an epic collection. This will have a better reading order than that book did, but like that, this is the one that will be the most similar because that was the book that sucked the least, basically, is the answer. Omar,
yes.
Do I care about getting volume 2? Isn't it the same thing as Fatal Attractions?
No, it will be mapped different. Fatal Attractions was an event omnibus, which is something that Peter and I have talked about on the channel. The Fatal Attractions, which just got a reprint, is probably the reason why they didn't go with a volume 2 immediately. They probably will wait for this book to eventually sell out. It's an X-Men omnibus. It will be selling out sometime. I don't know when, but no, it will have more things, including the Gambit miniseries 1 through 4.
Never oversized.
Never been collected in oversized format. Now is the time to fix the sins of the past. Let's get Rogue in oversized format, issues 1 through 4, by the late Mike Wieringo art. That wouldn't be until volume 4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think those are the big FAQs. And it's like, this does, a lot of people are like, well, is this going to make any sense? Do I need to buy Fatal Attractions? No, I think Blood Ties as the first story in here really kind of recaps a lot of the big action from Fatal Attractions, and you kind of see the outcomes of it very easily. Then there's a lot of like X-Men downtime issues that they're famous for leading up to the wedding, which is only 4 more issues into this in each title. And then after the wedding, it's a lot of 1- and 2-shot stories. It's a lot of stuff about the legacy virus. It's a lot of Mr. Sinister. Rogue and Gambit gets some stuff to do, but like, it resolves the Psylocke, Betsy and Quanon plot. I think that plot of Betsy and Quanon is really the only plot that you're going to be like, whoa, did I miss something? Because that starts in what will eventually be a volume 2. But you could get this and read it, and you're not going to be totally lost. You forget that like this was from an era where I was literally buying some of these comics from the newsstand. Every comic was somebody's first. You're not going to be lost. It's not like you're coming in the middle of Krakoa. That's not what this is.
I agree.
And one final comment. If you have the Epic collections, which haven't quite reached this far, but this blue and gold line maps exactly the same as Epic collection. So if you're like, oh, is it going to have extra stuff? It might have like one extra thing somewhere, but to this point, it's been exactly the same. So you do not need to like make a choice. Anyway,
we will make them add extra stuff so the Epicureans can yell and be like, I can't believe they're adding this to the... well, no, they would have to add the Gambit miniseries, right?
I think so. Anyway, that's a whole nother video. But I'm saying
generally you started this. Okay.
Omar, we'll get back to you. We're seeing some other candidates for the position. It's very competitive, and we'll let you know.
I'd like to know who the hell those candidates are. Next time, give me a heads up about studying first. Have a good day. Back to back.
By the way, the Gambit miniseries is in the Epic line. It is there.
Okay, awesome. Can't wait to have it in the Omnibus format. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Reign of X Omnibus Volume 1. With the new content, collecting X-Men 16 through 19, Cable 7 through 9, Excalibur 16 through 17, Hellion 7 through 8, Juggernaut 1 through 5, King and Black Marauders 16 through 19, New Mutants 14 through 17, Sword 1 through 4, Wolverine 8 through 10, X-Factor 5 through 6, and X-Force 15 through 19, ranked 102. And Dawn of X was ranked number 8. Oh, man, the polls are going to be so interesting this year. Are people still going to be hungry for this, like more? Will Volume 2 of Reign of X be up in the top 10? I guess we'll find out. So this is the changes that they made was take out the Children of the Atom and replace them with Juggernaut 1 through 5. They also, I can't remember, was there... Excalibur issues 18 and 19.
I think they took out another issue or 2 of Excalibur. Yeah.
Okay.
And the Children of the Atom removal makes sense because that miniseries reads in such a quick order, like things are happening to them so quickly that I don't think from a timeline perspective it makes sense to split it up between books because it's got very little breaks between it, and it kind of rolls right into the Hellfire Gala, which will be probably in the next volume. So I think that's actually a good change. It should all be in one place. It was going to be very unsatisfying to have the first 2 or 3 issues of it here. This is all very much like the fallout of X of Swords. A lot of things happen in X. I don't want to spoil it for people who are just getting to read it, but the composition of the X-Men changes a little bit. The composition of the Quiet Council changes a little bit. We start focusing our view a little bit more outside of Krakoa when previously we were really focused just on Krakoa itself. So it's, it's, I wouldn't start Krakoa here just because it's labeled Volume 1. It just happens to be Volume 1 of the Reign of X portion of Krakoa. I would still start from Hoxpox and Dawn of X Volume 1.
I will say that the Dawn of X Omnibus Volume 1 is coming back to print. There is a small restock coming in, I think it's in March, isn't it? Or April, I can't remember. But Blue and Gold, Mutant Genesis is sold out again. Well, at least it's out of print from the distribution level. I have no idea how many copies people bought up, but it is still being sold, I think, at cheap graphic novels, and I think in-stock trades may still have some. And that was always going to be just the standard cover, not the direct market cover. And someone was saying, will they change the cover to the standard because this is from Excalibur 18? And that's not included in here. Probably, maybe. That's how that Robert Duvall passed away, man. 91. It's a good run. Right? 91? Yeah. Go ahead, Peter. What were you going to say?
No, nothing.
Okay. Damn it. I wish that DM cover for Reign had matching spine with the regular Dawn of X. I love Storm. I wish they had done the same trade dress, too, for...
Yeah.
I like the... Honestly, I like the direct market cover, but I like Tom's design on the Krakoa era Omnis. Poe Dameron. Collecting Poe Dameron 1 through 31. Star Wars Poe Dameron Annuals 1 and 2. And this moved up 76 from 98. No reprint news on X of Swords. I promise as soon as I know something, you all will know something. And CGN just restocked Blue and Gold Volume 1 today in case people missed out on it. So, for which one, John? Dawn of X? No, when I emailed Marvel, they told me it was coming back in March or April. Anyway, this is one that I was supposed to announce 2 years ago. And
I remember.
We're going to change. We changed our mind. And I thought, I hadn't even recorded it though. So, but it happens. It happens in the book market. It happens in comics. So they decided to go with something else. I can't remember what replaced it, but instead it moved here. And now it is coming out in September of 2026. And this is one that a lot of people that have read it really enjoyed it and wanted it in an omnibus format. Yeah, I've only read the first trade, but it's a pretty popular series too. So yeah, not only are we eating good from the Dark Horse era of Star Wars, but also the Marvel era. Let's see, can I read this without at least see
Absolutely.
the movie. Yeah, at least see the movie because this takes place, I want to say after episode 7.
I thought it was before.
No, actually, no, you're right. It does take place before 7. Yep.
Yeah, it's kind of like what makes him as trusted and the go-to guy that he is in episode 7. So this kind of is almost like his origin a little bit. And we've seen some of his parents' story in the Battle of Jakku stuff that's like after Return of the Jedi. And so, it kind of like show, and I think he was like just born or she's pregnant with him or something. And so this kind of like continues to show how he comes up through the ranks in the rebellion to be as trusted as he is. And of course, part of why it's so popular is, Charles Soule was like kind of really breaking out at this point. He was writing Daredevil at the same time. So he was like pretty popular and beloved. And also this was a lot of the art in the series is by Phil Noto, or at least the cover is. Actually, a lot of the interiors are too.
Yeah, and Rod Reyes did the cover for the DM. So wait, they did a second printing for Blue and Gold, which I ordered. September is round 3, so they're doing a third printing of it. That's crazy. I'll find out exactly what's going on there. Thank you so much for reminding people to hit that like button. We really appreciate that.
One more comment about this. People are asking if it's before or after.
It's before The Force Awakens.
Right? This starts out in 32 ABY. ABY is the Star Wars annotation for after the Battle of Yavin. The Force Awakens occurs in 34 ABY. So this happens 2 years prior to Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm every kind of nerd, except for Ultraman, apparently.
Fake nerd. Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky is coming back to print, collecting Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man 1 through 6, 297 to 310, Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man, Annual number 1, the Free Comic Day Special 2017, Spider-Man Life Story 1 through 6, the Annual, and Spider Shadow 1 through 5. This did not rank in our top 30.
I didn't look at the reprint poll rankings.
No. It's okay. I know that it wasn't in our top 25 that I sent them. This year I'm only gonna send the top 20. I like I'm doing the epics, but this is something that they wanted to reprint because, well, Chip's a pretty hot commodity and it was out of print, and they're it's really surprising they're reprinting all 3 covers.
Yeah, that very rarely happens.
2. Yeah, I figured 2 would be it. Oh wow, this is your favorite Spider-Man Omni. That's awesome. Can't unsee the guy. Yeah, somebody told me that, and I'm like, damn it, now I can't unsee it. It's pretty cool though. I like that cover. So hyped for this reprint. Totally.
All 3 of these covers are amazing, honestly.
Yeah, I think if Melanie hadn't chosen the Zdarsky cover, I would have gone with the Sakara cover, which is the J. Jonah Jameson cover. I love that cover. I think it's awesome. This is a really fun series. I don't know if anybody needs to be sold on it, but it's got a lot of heartbreak, it's got a lot of drama, and it's got a lot of funny. if you haven't read Life Story, that to me is one of the greatest Spider-Man comics. Spider Shadow is a what if story. Well, then again, so is Life Story. Life Story is the story of Spider-Man as he ages in real time. So
yeah, this is not one continuous story omnibus. It's a main run on Spectacular Spider-Man, and then these minis, which are separate from that. And Spectacular Spider-Man, of course, was not the main Spider-Man title at that time. Amazing was. So Zdarsky does not have the full weight of like pushing the Spider-Man story forward in this period. This was still towards the end of Dan Slott and All New, All Different Marvel and Marvel Legacy. So Zdarsky kind of just gets to play on his own separately and kind of do a more personal Spider-Man story. So there's nothing else you need to read. There's no pre-reading. There's no post-reading. This is just a run of Spectacular Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky, and then these two miniseries which exist outside of mainline continuity.
Are there any moments from Brand New Day that you want to see added to Easter eggs in the Brand New Day movie? Definitely don't add the character of Jackpot, because man, I hate that character so much. And the original Jack. Oh my gosh, what is the Green Goblin character? Oh no, wait, that's a spoiler. Never mind. I was trying to think of the character's name. The Fiend? Maybe was that it? Anywho, it's kind of sad that Guardians of the Galaxy got lost like that. Hopefully,
talking about Volume 2. Bendis Volume 2.
Yeah, I think it'll be back. I think they just need a reminder. Menace, that's it. Please do not include Menace. That character sucks. Jackpot's getting her own movie. Sadie Sink is Jackpot. You guys are the worst. No good news. Thanks a lot, guys. Daredevil Volume 4. This is the book I was talking about earlier. Collecting Daredevil 120 to 158, Daredevil Annual 4, Ghost Rider 20, Marvel Premiere 39 through 40 and 43, and the material from What If number 8, which is a freaking awesome story. This was ranked 33 really for Daredevil. This stuff is still
because people just want to get to Miller. They want to get there.
I know, but it's still a little rough around the edges. By the time you get to Miller, though, it's like, wow, it is. You'll see, especially if you're reading these for the first time. Like if you have Daredevil Omnibus 1 through 4 now, and you get to the Frank Miller Omnibus, you're gonna see why it was so popular at the time.
Yeah,
it is night and day. Especially as soon as Roger McKenzie ends up leaving the book and Frank Miller writes it. And then you get Klaus Janson on inks and then eventually finishing it. Oh, man. Yeah, it does. But again, there will be a Volume 5 that will replace the Frank Miller Omnibus. And it will have, finally, for the first time ever, an oversized format, the missing Steve Ditko issue. Yes, this is the first appearance of Bullseye.
I really can't say a lot of positive about. I don't particularly enjoy this period of Daredevil. I think it came off of a period that's so interesting with like the Black Widow and the San Francisco stuff, and they kind of had a better idea of who he was at this point, but there's a reason Frank Miller took over. Like this is not the place to begin your Daredevil collection.
Well, I don't think it's a secret, but this title was about to get canceled.
Oh yeah,
they were just like, yeah, sure, let this kid Frank Miller run with it, whatever. And they kind of took a chance, and man, yeah, night and day.
Well, so now you two can experience why it was about to get canceled.
Just like X-Men, when I warned people
of
the Silver Age. But there are some pretty cool things in here. I do love me some Gene Colan, so that direct.
I do. He is my favorite, but
absolutely. Yeah. This has some of the last Gene Colan stuff in here on his Daredevil ongoing. Way of X, a.k.a. the Nightcrawler Saga by Simon Spurrier Omnibus. Collecting Way of X 1 through 5, X-Men The Onslaught Revelation, Legion of X 1 through 10, X-Men Before the Fall, Sons of X1, Uncanny Spider-Man 1 through 5, X-Men Blue Origins, Nightcrawlers 1 through 3. 197 is where it was ranked. Someone on my Saturday live stream asked me my opinion on this, and I was trying to explain that it's not like Kieran Gillen, it's not like Al Ewing, it's not like Jerry Dugan's run, because Cy Spurrier has a very unique way of writing, and you either like it or it may not be for you. And that's what you're going to find through these pages. I really like it, though. I like his Legion, which is going to be reprinted, which we'll look at here in a little bit. There is a damn Onslaught story in here that even that didn't take away anything from this. I like this. It's confusing. I saw the comments when I announced it because people were legit confused. Like, where does this take place in the reading order of Krakoa? Is this the next one after Rise, or I'm sorry, Reign of X? Is that what this is? No, this is just X-Men by Cy Spurrier, Krakoa era. That's it. No, right, we named it for the slide. It is not, the official name is still the Way of X Omnibus.
Yeah, but we'll be forever adding that because no one will ever know. So here's a few things I'll pitch to you on this. One, have you ever wanted a whole omnibus of Nightcrawler? He's a big lead character in the first two Excalibur omnibuses, but if you've ever wanted to focus on Nightcrawler, this is very close to being a Nightcrawler solo series. He has had some other solo work. He had a great 12-issue solo series in the 2000s. He had a brief solo series by Claremont. This is the longest total focus on Nightcrawler that we've ever had. So that is one reason you might want this, separate from if you're reading all of Krakoa. Like, it's Nightcrawler, and it's got some great stuff really about who he is, separate from if you're reading all of Krakoa. You really could read this separate from all of Krakoa. I think you could. Even though it has tons of Krakoa stuff in it and it's part of Krakoa, it can actually stand alone, unlike I think any of the other Krakoa books. Two, if you love Spurrier's Legion, which is getting reprinted, which we're about to talk about, this continues some themes of that book, and spoilers, it has Legion in it. I think you can tell because one of the things is called Legion of X. So again, if that is, I know for a lot of people, they're not huge X-Men fans, but that X-Men book is one of their favorite X-Men books, then you probably will enjoy this. It's big, weird, fast thinking in the same way that Spurrier's writing was there. And then the final thing I'll add to it is Hickman launches so much stuff at the beginning of Krakoa. You've all heard me say this 1,000 times now, but I have to keep saying it. Some people are new. Hickman doesn't follow up on a lot of stuff. He kind of is like writing creative briefs and handing them out like candy on Halloween to the other writers. And one of the briefs he writes, I forget if it was his issue, X-Men 2019, number 6 or number 7, is this idea of the gauntlet and that, people are dying specifically so they could be resurrected, whole with the powers that they have. And Nightcrawler's like, that's strange, like volunteering to die so that you can live. There's something very philosophically, religiously, ethically interesting about that. This is Cy Spurrier playing with that idea for 3 years. That's what this is. It's the idea of how does that interact with the idea of being alive or being dead or your identity. There's some crazy stuff in there. It talks about mutants and sex. It talks about mutants and relationships. It talks about Nightcrawler's relationship to Mystique. It talks about a lot Legion's relationship to Professor X. Spurrier is deeply weird. I think the man must take drugs before he writes every comic book. I cannot prove that. I'm not trying to libel or slander him. I could write it down, so it could be both. But I'm not trying to do either. But like, it's a little weird to follow. Spurrier is a crazy person. But if you've enjoyed Spurrier being a crazy person on other books like Hellblazer or on like Legion, this is more of the same. So there you go.
Like, nothing gets crazier than Spurrier's independent titles. Like when he's like, oh, I feel like I'm going to just make my own language up, and you're just going to have to catch the hell up and figure out what these people are saying. This has the actual origin of Nightcrawler that Chris Claremont wanted to tell. And
almost one hair off of Claremont.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it does something that I completely love. And that is retcon the Draco, because the Draco can go to hell.
Yeah. In an elegant way. I will say that Uncanny Nightcrawler and X-Men Blue Origins 1 from 2023, you're like, Uncanny Nightcrawler, what is that even, or what is it called? Uncanny Spider-Man. Why is it even called Uncanny Spider-Man? Why isn't it called Uncanny Nightcrawler? That was my favorite Marvel book of 2023. I went back and looked at my ratings. That's how much I loved it. So like, I'm going hard for this. Spurrier, I sometimes worry about recommending because he's such a weirdo. But you have my endorsement on this one, folks, if you like Nightcrawler.
Yeah, he's hard for me to pitch to people because I like it, but he is not for everybody. And I understand that. So I have to, tell people ahead of time. Like, it's weird, but I love it.
All right, let's continue.
Thank you so much, Dark Empire.
Thank you, Dark Empire. I would love, could we do like old reader, new reader with Maddie of like some part of I think it'd be so funny to have Maddie read like, so here's the X-Men talking about like why, like the ethics of sex on Krakoa. I feel like that would be an amazing old reader, new reader.
Oh my gosh, she would love it. Like, she's
I think she would really dig it.
This is so much better than Chris Claremont's and break my heart. X-Men Legacy. This is the Legion book I was talking about. This is the reprint, collecting X-Men Legacy 1 through 24. It, for the first time, has a new direct market cover. Even though the original cover is kind of cool. I like the standard cover. But the Bill Sienkiewicz cover, love it. Because I can't think of David Haller without, like, his design, of course, was Bill Sienkiewicz. And I think it fits perfect. This is another one of those Spurrier's crazy series, and not just featuring him, but featuring other lesser known X-Men characters. Like, oh my gosh, what is her name? Sand? And who else appears in here? Somebody mentioned Stacy X. Now she's on my mind. Wow, what a horrible character that Spurrier made interesting, though.
Dr. Nemesis.
Yeah. He loves using Nemesis, though. Dust. That was it, not Sand. Thank you so much. What the hell, Sand? Anyway, this is another one of those books. It's hard. Blindfolds in this. Thank you. Yes. It's hard to recommend to everybody, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also understand that
I don't actually like this that much. I like Way of X better. Quick correction. I called it the Gauntlet. It's actually the Crucible, where the X-Men fight to die to get resurrected. And that's an X-Men 2019 number 7. Thank you, One Wheelchair X, for all of the corrections. He knows his X-Men really well, and he's catching all of our mistakes here in the chat.
Wait, what do you mean all of our mistakes?
Here's him saying the Crucible. Here's
Pyromaniac
and Dust, and then him saying Blindfold. Okay.
I was thinking of the JSA Sand. Duh, Peter.
Duh.
Come on.
Yeah, I know. I'm always thinking about the JSA.
I love the JSA, and Sand was his sidekick. Yeah, totally. He's the cool version of Sandman in the JSA. All right, X-Men Age of Krakoa, Kieran Gillen with
baby,
with added material. Collecting Immortal X-Men 1 through 18, Sins of Sinister number 1, Immortal X-Men 1 through 3, Sins of Sinister Dominion, X-Men Before the Fall, Sinister 4, and X-Men Forever 1 through 4. Ranked 31. Man, that was steady. That was there. People read.
Yeah. This is the best X-Men fight.
This era. Love this era. How would you rank it? How would you rank
one of all time?
Ewing. Wait, X-Men comic of all time?
I love Kieran Gillen. I love The Quiet Council. I love Immortal X-Men. This to me is what X-Men always should have been, never got to be, and then he goes and does it again in Power Fantasy. I know I'm weird, and not all of you agree with me on everything. I tried to give you a very balanced take on that Nightcrawler book. I cannot give you a balanced take here. This is the, like, pump it into my veins directly X-Men. There's nothing I could like more than this. This is the pinnacle.
So you like this more than his original run? You like this more than...
In the context of what he's able to achieve in Krakoa, yes. I think to pick up on its own, his original run is maybe more enjoyable. But like, Gillen takes the Hickman stuff across the finish line here. Like he gets into the end zone. He spikes the ball. Gillen finishes up what Hickman started. Sorry, I can't be fair and balanced about this one. I just love it too much, Omar.
I know that I see comments when people are like, "Oh, Hickman left and it sucked after that."
No, fight me.
No, it did not. Gillen's X-Men, Al Ewing's Red X-Men were some of the best stories, and I actually agree. I don't think it is tough. It's a toss-up for me between this and Al Ewing's X-Men during this era, but I think both of them were better than Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. Maybe not. Maybe a little better than his New Mutants. I actually like his New Mutants a little more than I did his X-Men run, but I think both series were better. I really like this stuff too, and I'm glad that we got the Sins of Sinister stuff in there because now people are happy. And if you get the creator-centric books, you don't need to go and find Sins of Sinister oversized hardcover.
But same note that we're giving on all this stuff. People asked in the chat in the last one. This is the Krakoa creator line. It is separate from the anthology line. If you're buying the anthology line and you're willing to wait the 4 to 7 years it takes for all the anthologies to get printed, every single issue of this maybe not Sins of Sinister, we don't know yet, will get recollected. Same for the Spurrier book. You do not need to buy both. If you are buying Reign of X from this catalog, you do not need to also buy Way of X and Gillen. They're separate collections that are going to overlap eventually. And if you want to know more, go watch our How to Collect X-Men and Omnibus video where we explain every single thing.
It's only 4 hours of your life you'll never get back, but worth it. Okay, real question though, Peter. During this era of Krakoa, what are your top 3 series? What are the top 3 that you love? Doesn't matter. I'm not saying recommend to anybody. It is you personally love.
I mean, it's super easy. It's Immortal X-Men, X-Men Red, and Uncanny Spider-Man Nightcrawler. Mic drop.
Okay. Wow. So the last part.
That's why I like the end of Krakoa, because it was like firing on all cylinders.
I'm gonna go with Al Ewing, X-Men Red, Hellions, and Kieran Gillen. Those were my 3. I loved Hellions. I thought Hellions was awesome.
Oh, if we're talking, I thought you were just saying the back half. All of Krakoa.
All of Krakoa. Where would you put
Krakoa? I love Cable by Jerry Dugan and Phil Noto. That might be in my top 3. Possibly the best Cable story of all time.
I don't know about that, but it's really good.
And I do love Hellions. I think that if I had a top 5, they would be in the top 5 with these other 3.
I said top 3. You can't be breaking rules already.
All right. Gillen, Cable, Hellions.
Over Ewing. Cable over Ewing. Okay.
You need the I think you need to
respect. Okay. Maybe we should do a poll one day for everybody. I want to hear what everybody else thinks, because Hickman gets a lot of love, and rightly so. But there were so many series outside of Hickman that people didn't check out because he left the book. Blood Hunt, all of that. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but they did add Fantastic Four 21 through 22, Vengeance of Moon Knight 5 through 7, and Venom 33 to 34.
It's everything, baby. It's everything you could possibly want. It's all there. It's going to be a big honker. Start lifting weights now. Get those triceps going so you can hold it up over your face while you're in bed.
Well, this that legit cracked me up. Will this have Blood Hunt in it? I don't think it'll be the Blood Hunt red band, but it will have Blood Hunt. Yes. And
there will be blood, but it won't be the red band one.
Yeah, red band had a lot more blood. But there's still an oversized hardcover that is still in print if you need more blood in your Blood Hunt. Wait, did you
wait, hold on. Wait, that's it? That's all you have to say?
I'm sorry. I moved on before.
You better apologize to all the Blood Hunt fans in the chat, Omar.
Oh my gosh, is Hunter watching? That guy, every day he was asking for this book. And then I finally got to announce it. And he was like, I can't believe it. Oh, there he is. Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Okay. Go ahead, Peter. What did you think of this story?
Okay. I always like a Marvel event when the main event writer has a couple of different series at the time. So they really are coordinating multiple things happening instead of when they're just writing one series and it feels like everybody else has to figure out how to play along. So Jed MacKay writes the main Blood Hunt. He also is writing Doctor Strange, which is very much contributing to this. He's also writing Moon Knight, which got added thankfully, which is very much contributing to this. He's also writing Avengers, which kind of contributes a little bit less because this Blood Hunt main story kind of is the Avengers arc, but then he's also writing Avengers, so he does kind of like a backup team of Avengers in there. So because it has that core of MacKay stuff all being very coherent, it's just very satisfying. Who knows how they'll do the reading order? Honestly, I don't have high hopes. If I was in charge, I would put Moon Knight, Doctor Strange, and Blood Hunt all together in the beginning, because much like when you read Infinity Crusade and Infinity Crusade, Warlock Chronicles and Warlock and the Infinity Watch kind of all go together, it's the same here. Then all the other tie-ins, you could read them whenever you're going to read them. Some of them were fun. The Black Panther tie-in was it was Charlene Eaton, who I frigging love, and the first 3 issue in a row artwork by Fareed Karimi, who is probably my favorite Marvel artist of 2025. That was really good. The Wolverine one, I think is Rip, one of my favorite artists, and written by it's leaving my mind. He did Ninja Turtles, I think, for a while. But anyway, there are good tie-ins here. It's vampires. It's vampires. Do you like vampires? Do you want to read about Marvel fighting vampires? Because that's what it is. Also, do you like Blade? If you like Blade and vampires and you want like a big Marvel story that's like all of that, then you'll dig this. You know what you should also get though? You should also pick up the 2 trade paperbacks, or maybe it was just one, of the 10-issue Brian Edward Hill Blade series that started in 2023, because that is basically the prologue to Blood Hunt. If this didn't have as many tie-ins, I think they would have like shoved that in here because it sets this up. You don't need it. You're still gonna, Blood Hunt just starts when it starts, but it's so much integrated with the idea of Blade and what Blade has been up to that reading those 10 issues is like a really fun prologue to this. This is fun. It's fun comics, but do you like vampires? Do you like Blade? Because if you don't, you're not going to care.
Tom Waltz did the one.
Tom Waltz, thank you.
I was trying to think of who was it. Tom Waltz. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the Fantastic Four tie-in by Ryan North is amazing.
And I think of that, and I think of like how to properly map this omnibus. Like people are always like, "Is this event omnibus going to be mapped in a proper order?" Probably not. They're probably going to have all Blood Hunt together.
It should have Blood Hunt and Doctor Strange and Moon Knight.
Yeah, but you're also forgetting one other one. You're forgetting about Braille. That needs the Dracula story because that is very important.
Oh, it is.
I don't think they're going to do it. The Dracula Blood Hunt story. That needs to be,
but it's in there. I mean, it is in there. That one's hard though because the issues of that happen over the span of several issues of other books, whereas the McKay stuff goes one by one. So that's tricky.
Things like Fantastic Four, keep it in the back. It has nothing to do with Blood Hunt other than wow, the sky is dark.
One of the coolest Reed Richards stories of all time.
Oh no, I love it. Don't get me wrong, but as far as like the main impact on this story, no. My favorite though, Blood Hunters. I love Blood Hunters. I think Blood Hunters was awesome. The Union Jack the Ripper Blood Hunt was surprisingly really good. And Midnight Suns was solid. Ups and downs. Ups and downs.
Yeah, I don't think I'm hard pressed to name. I'm like squinting because it's so small. I don't know if anything truly sucked. I don't think any of the tie-ins like outright sucked.
I didn't like Psylocke.
Yeah, but that's one shot. Like the X-23 one was good.
What's that?
The X-23 one was good.
The Laura Kinney one? That's the Laura Kinney one, right? Yeah, that one was okay.
Yeah. I don't think any of this sucked. I truly don't think. And it kind of changed Miles' whole status quo.
I didn't dig Black Panther, but I'm glad you liked it. Miles,
the art though.
You like the art? Okay.
I love Reed Creamy. He drew tons of Jed McKay's Avengers. He's like the artist for the whole.
Oh no, I do like his art. Yeah.
Okay, there's one that sucked. I didn't love the Amazing Spider-Man one. It was just fine.
I don't even remember what happened in that one.
It didn't really need
Wells book though.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy. A big surprise, but much welcome because I really like this. I don't know how you feel. This is collecting all of his series, so 1 through 21. Plus the Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha, Wolverine 36, the Weapons of Vengeance Omega, Ghost Rider Final Vengeance 1 through 6, Ghost Rider Vengeance Forever, and Ghost Rider Annual number 1. This is the introduction of Helverine. Where's Omnibus still here? He is such a Helverine kind of dude. But that cover on the left, man. That standard cover. Oh, it's so badass. Nothing wrong if you're a fan of Helverine. Whatever. That's cool. But I love that cover.
Yeah.
Love
the concept of Helverine is introduced here. Not the current Helverine who it is.
Well, no,
but just the idea of it is introduced.
The demon that makes
right. But not the person. That's correct. Not here. Yes.
Oh no, you're missing out.
Here's what I'll say about this, which I am on the record of not enjoying this. It's
what? You didn't like this?
Hold on, but I want to. I always want to try to like tell people they're gonna like it. So, do you want to read this is Ghost Rider as Supernatural, the TV show Supernatural, one of my favorite TV shows. It's like Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider. Don't start, Patty. Don't start. Look. So look, it's like a monster of the week Ghost Rider. It's Ghost Rider goes somewhere. There's an evil spider. There's a person who's eating people at gas stations. And it's like a little bit dark. It's a little bit like transgressive, but like for the whole first half of this, it's Ghost Rider just going around and like finding specific demons that are doing bad things and penancing them. And so the first couple of issues, I was like, damn, this is cool. Then I realized Monster of the Week only works so well in modern comics. It's a very like 70s model of comics where like every issue you just fight a different monster and then you go, that's solved. And I think by the time we got to the arc, because it does build into an arc and there is a big arc at the end, I was just so worn out on like, ooh, it's the creepy, transgressive kind of ooky monsters that are doing things that are a little bit like sexually weird. I was just over it by the time we got to the end of the series. If everything I said just made your nipples hard, you're going to like it.
Love it. Nipples hard.
Omar's nipples like diamonds. Emma Frost nipples under that sweatshirt.
You lost me at Supernatural, but that's another story for another day.
All the Sam and Dean fans are coming for you now, Omar. They're on their way.
They can come over with my brother and with torches. I love this. I thought it was excellent. I was worried with the first issue that it was going to go the Vertigo route, which is something that I did not like during the Jason Aaron run. My problem with Jason Aaron's Ghost Rider was it wasn't Ghost Rider, it was Preacher. And I've already read Preacher. I want to read Ghost Rider. When I read that first issue, I thought, oh my gosh, they're going to do the exact same thing. And they didn't. I loved it. I love the fact that he brought in Johnny Blaze. I love how he redeemed the character of Danny. If you had read the previous series with what was it, Ed Brisson, some of the things had changed with Danny. He wasn't the Ghost Rider. He brought in the other Ghost Rider. What is her name? The Latina Ghost Rider. But anyway, they all came together and to tell this really violent and dark story that I thought Marvel was kind of almost crossing the line with for the rating that it would get, because I think it was only rated teen plus, and they were doing some things in there that I was like, whoa, this is almost like Vertigo territory, but I'm loving it. I really enjoyed this series. Is it better than the Danny Ketch series? Absolutely not. No, nothing beats.
But
Danny
it's like
Ketch.
Fun, violent, scary, demonic, modern, Ghost Rider. I seriously fuck with the Ed Brisson Ghost Rider that came right before this. So I think I also was like feeling some grief that one ended, because I
like that one. I didn't like real hard. Everything that happened in it, but I did like that one. And before that, it was the Robbie Reyes run, right?
Yes, the last ongoing to Ghost Rider before that was Robbie Reyes. So yeah.
If this is Supernatural Ghost Rider, where's the Scooby-Doo? Is there a Scooby-Doo?
Real ones know. Real Supernatural fans know. Okay, let's talk about more Ghost Rider.
Woo! Vengeance, baby, making it on the cover twice. This is collecting again the 90s era of Ghost Rider. He is the second Ghost Rider, but Johnny Blaze is also a big part of this. And speaking of Johnny Blaze, this contains Ghost Rider 41 through 50, annual number 1, and the rest of the Spirits of Vengeance. Every bit of Spirits of Vengeance is now collected in omnibus format, collecting issues 14 through 23, plus the crossover with Night Stalkers 14 through 15. The Marvel Comics Presents 143 to 146, and that's it. You won't be seeing any more Marvel Comics Presents because it ends with issue 150. Darkhold pages from the book. Was it 175?
Yeah, but I don't think Ghost Rider's in it past that.
No. There might be one more story in the next one. No. Yeah. He does have one more story. Yeah, I know he has one more story because I tried to get it added in here, and Marvel said that will be in the next omnibus. Next one. Wink, wink.
Look, these are mapped so exquisitely. Like, it has everything you could want. I keep saying every time it comes up, Omar, somebody at that collected editions department, say positive things, say negative things, say what you want. Somebody over there loves Ghost Rider, because these omnibuses are a dream of what you would want.
I love this era of collected editions that we're getting with Omnis. With, we have X-Men Blue and Gold. That was a dream come true for all of us X-Men fans that read that stuff in the 90s. I love what we're getting here with Ghost Rider Danny Ketch, because it's now the Spirits of Vengeance and Ghost Rider. That's such a great decision. Have you seen the mapping for the Red Hulk Omnis? Or I'm sorry, not the Omnis, the Epic Collections, the modern era?
No, I don't think so, because I have it in trade, so I haven't picked them up.
So they're putting Hulk by Greg Pak and Jeff Loeb Red Hulk together in books.
Yeah, which means I probably am going to wind up buying them.
That's the way they should have done it from the beginning. That's the way I hope they do it in omnibus format when it's all said and done. I love it. So yes, bless your efforts. Make comics.
Hey, dude.
Thank you, Wacky Wally. Thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, I can't say enough about this line of books. And here's the thing, Omar mentioned Blue and Gold, but with X-Men, we've got a million people on the internet who've mapped that out. There's me, there's Omar, there's everybody's got an X-Men reading order. Everybody's got, I mean, mine's the best one, but everybody's got one, right? Ghost Rider, I do have all this mapped out in Crushing Crisis. There are not a lot of sites that have put the work into like putting this together. So it's not, to me, it's like a real act of love that Marvel sat down and they figured out like, okay, here's where we're going to break Ghost Rider Blaze Spirits of Vengeance. Let's make sure we get the MCP stuff. We're going to put Blaze Legacy of Blood in this one, not in the next one. Like, it's just done with such care. And I appreciate that. That's what I want from every omnibus.
And I wish every editor was the editors that we like working on the X-Men books were working on all the other books, including the event books. Okay. So yes, very excited for that.
This missed the top 60 last year.
This is Star Wars Legends. I spoke about this, the Menace Revealed. So collecting Jango Fett open seasons 1 through 4, Star Wars 7 through 35, and then material from Star Wars Tales 8, 13, 21 through 24, Dark Horse Era 35 through 37, and Dark Horse Presents Annual 2000. This will have, I think, one more volume to wrap up this era. And Jander Seema, who I had no idea was married to Tom Mandrake until I interviewed him.
What? I didn't know that.
I didn't either. Both of them met in school. How many Omnis are blue and gold expected to be? We mapped it out to 4.
Well, we originally wanted it to be 3, but now that we know what this third one is, it's 4.
Yeah, it's going to be 4.
Yeah.
Or they won't have volume numbers, but they'll be hold. Yeah. This is I have the tail end of this stuff in Epic Collection. So I haven't read the beginning of this. It's solid. You know, can't go wrong with Ostrander on Star Wars.
It's interesting to me, like the Dark Horse comics were so well integrated with what was happening in the movies around the same time as the movies that it's like, no matter what Marvel does in that prequels period and what they rewrite in the new Star Wars canon, you know, across all media in the new version of the expanded universe, this is my prequels era canon. Like this is, for me, this is always going to be what the story was intended to be. We can get into arguments about like what should happen in the Star Wars universe, you know, after episode 4. And that's why we're revising, because they didn't know there was going to be a sequel trilogy. But to me, I'm like, why would you rewrite? This stuff is great. Why would you rewrite this stuff? But I just happen to be old school about that particular part of the Dark Horse stuff.
No, this is some really good stuff. I am excited to read it for the first time. Like I said, I read the tail end of this, but I haven't read the beginning. So the stuff in volume 2 I'd have read, because some of those characters show up in there. Not the only. We're not done with Star Wars either. Not this era.
No.
Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 6. I remember when I got to announce 5, and I hinted at, and there will be a Volume 6 and 7, and then here we are a few years later. The first one I announced was 4, and I kept that one a secret. I remember the way that I did it. I announced, like, this was back when they wanted me to announce a bunch at the same time, when I was getting chunks of them, and now I just get them as they come out. But I announced like 13 Omnis at the same time, and I lied. There was a 14th Omni, and it was Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 4 for the people that stayed watching the whole video. But yeah, Volume 6 now. Collecting 210 to 31. This is my Batman Year 1, Year 2 DC finest. This collects the Mutant Massacre and Fall of the Mutants, which is insane. X-Men Annual 11, Mephisto versus 3 and 4, Spider-Man versus Wolverine, which was not in the Epic Collection, Fantastic Four versus X-Men, also not in the Mutant Massacre, Prelude to the Massacre, Fall of the Mutants Omnibus. Fantastic Four versus the X-Men 1 through 4, X-Men versus the Avengers 1 through 4, material from Marvel Fanfare 38, Best of Marvel 1987, Official Handbook of the Marvel Universe Deluxe Edition. Woo! This has some great stuff. It's all been collected just about in omnibus format. But
if you went with the event line, you've got this. Like this is the Uncanny X-Men issues that are in Mutant Massacre. It's the Uncanny X-Men issues in Fall of the Mutants, and it's 1/3 of the X-Men issues in Inferno Prologue. But if you don't have the Epic books, or if you want an Uncanny only version of this, that's what's here.
So
also of note, Spider-Man versus Wolverine is in, I believe, the Wolverine Omnibus.
Yes,
but it's never been in. It's never been. Excuse me. It's never been in an X-Men Omnibus before.
It has not. Just the Wolverine Omni. The Mephisto versus also have not been. Were they in the X Factor Omni?
Only the ones relevant to
3.
X-Factor. Yeah.
That's a weird. It's always been a weird collection because in each issue, he fights different teams. So we weren't ever.
Yeah, X Factor only has number 2.
Woo! Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is great stuff. So, a lot of Mark Silvestri starts drawing in here. I always call this X-Men disassembled. I mean, it's Chris Claremont being like, what if we start with a team that's almost totally recognizable? It's got Psylocke, who he just introduced literally at the beginning of this. It's got Dazzler, who had never been an X-Men before and had actually only ever turned up in, I think, 2 X-Men issues ever before this. It had Longshot, which, had just been invented in his own miniseries. Havoc becomes a main X-Men member, which he had not been since the late 1960s. I mean, he really takes things apart to get to that team here, even though it still has core members. It still has Rogue, still has Storm, Colossus, Wolverine. It feels very different. And then we don't quite get to taking them apart yet. This is kind of just them gelling. They gel around issue, 218? What's the one in the sewers where Psylocke says she's going to kill Havoc?
219.
219. And so then they gel, and then you get like a whole year of enjoying them. And then the next omnibus will kind of be like the Outback and Inferno stuff. And then the omnibus after that would be Claremont Lee, where he starts taking them apart.
This has some of that stuff in there. This also has 228, which is one of my all-time favorite issues.
Right, like they quote unquote die, so we get like the birth of the Outback. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't. Like, somebody was asking which way is the better way to collect it, and really it is up to you. This stuff, as I mentioned, has been available in omnibus format between the Mutant Massacre and the Fall of the Mutants. All of that collects also the X Factor issues and the New Mutants issues that have nothing really to do with X-Men other than I smell Jean Grey or hey, is that Magneto's head over there? Those kind of things, because they were so separated. So the collection in here makes perfect sense why they don't have any X Factor. The next one with Inferno will definitely have to have those X Factor.
It'll just have the crossover issues, though. It's not going to have like a whole ton of X Factor. It's going to do what the Masterworks did and just have the direct X Factor crossover issues.
So my point is, it depends on how you want to collect X-Men. This will have the letter pages. The letter pages for this era have never been collected. And if you're into
and Masterworks haven't? No? Masterworks have letter pages?
Mm-hmm. No. They thought about it when the remasterwork started, and they were like, nah, let's keep it to the Omnis.
Yeah, I think it was
the Omnis to feel special. And yeah, so they thought about it. 231 is the issue with Rick Leonardi doing the artwork on that. Longshot. Oh man, this is the era that I fell in love with X-Men. Because after this becomes like the Outback era, which is part of like the whole Inferno. Marvel Fanfare story is not in the event line. Where has that been collected though? Besides that Marvel Fanfare Omnibus Volume 2.
Is it in the Epic? I don't know.
It might be in the Epic, yeah.
Yeah.
Or Masterwork, maybe. It's only in the Dazzler and Marvel Fanfare, of course. Thank you. So that's where I saw it. No Power Pack issues were Power Pack. Whoops, Sabretooth. But honestly, as a kid, like it you didn't need it, right? It was just there. I didn't get Power Pack until later because I couldn't find it.
Yeah, Mutant Massacre is not a direct crossover. Surely many people have seen that graphic that they show it as like a series of interconnected pipes and nodes of like how you can read it. There's no reading order. Like it's not a direct crossover. We're just used to reading that Power Pack issue with it because Marvel up until this point had historically always collected all of Mutant Massacre together. But like Mutant Massacre makes total sense if you don't read at New Mutants, Power Pack, Thor. You don't need any of that. The core of the story is in Uncanny X-Men.
I mean, they'll be like, oh my gosh, the sewers are on fire. And in your head, because you didn't read the issues of Thor, maybe it's a mutant that causes fire. Do you think the series will end with issue 280 or X-Men number 3? Man, what a tough question to answer. I don't know.
I think because of Blue and Gold, because Blue and Gold takes up the torch of kind of a complete X-Men series, and it starts with X-Men 1, I feel like...
I'm going to say it, Peter. Blue and Gold don't have letter pages. This will continue.
Yeah,
this line will always continue.
All right. Well, then we'll have a fourth version of that to talk about 10 years from now.
I think it'll take a lot longer than 10 years. 20 years from now, when we're doing an anniversary video, wherever the hell we're going to be. Remember? Okay, I won't sound anything like that. I hope not. Inferno is really the first proper crossover because of all the mutants. Yeah. I mean, outside of even New Mutants, except for that issue where Colossus strays away for a little bit. Silver Surfer, the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus. So this is collecting issues 34 to 66, annuals 3 and 4, Thanos Quest 1 and 2, Infinity Gauntlet 1 through 6, material for Marvel Comics Presents 50, 69, 93 to 97. Man, I love this stuff. This is the return of Jim Starlin to the book, and then the beginning of Ron Mars. Ron Lim is the artist on this title at the time, who of course went on to finish out the Infinity Gauntlet after George Perez left the book with, was it issue 3 and he did some of 4? Yeah. And I love this stuff. I'm so glad people are now reading. It's crazy that we got the Return to the Spaceways and now we have the Infinity Gauntlet. I hope we'll get Infinity War. Yeah. That's what I want. Wearing glasses, my progressives. Yes, that's what they're called. I just want to know that there will be an Inferno Aftermath and then another to take us to a 280. We don't know yet. I mean, that was always the thought, that they're probably going to do an Inferno Aftermath. But being that X Factor 3 is coming out and they kind of learn perhaps from the backlash of Uncanny 5 and Prelude to the Massacre being released around the same time, maybe a little bit of a time in between. What do you think of this era, Peter? Were you a Surfer fan?
I was not historically a Surfer fan. I stayed pretty far from Marvel Cosmic because X-Men was so separated from it at the time, and I was primarily an X-Men reader. Now I've really come to appreciate like how elegantly things were happening in the main Surfer title, and that like Infinity Gauntlet, which of course I knew Infinity Gauntlet, but that was kind of like the big flashy show, and like kind of the real stuff was happening in Silver Surfer. So this is, I mean, it's really good comics. It's really funny, these comics. And if you love Surfer, like, this is the main event. This is the center ring. Why would you not want this?
And I'm curious how they're going to map it, because, you know, Infinity Gauntlet in the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus is all together, and then Silver, because Silver, you're really supposed to read issues of Silver Surfer in between. Like that whole issue where he's coming to grab the gauntlet, where Warlock is like, go! That scene plays out just a little different in the comic of Silver Surfer. And speaking of Silver Surfer, if you have the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus, it's out of print right now, unfortunately, but that doesn't collect all of this. That actually collects issues 34 to 38, 40, and then 44 to 60.
Yeah, it only has like the most relevant stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just really fascinated that they're going pretty hard on printing Surfer. Now, of course, there was the Fantastic Four movie last year, so that was no surprise that we got Silver Surfer Return to this Spaceways, just so there was like some kind of Surfer thing on the market while Surfer was in the conversation. But I did not expect us only 18 months later to be getting the next one. Like that's really surprising to me. It's not like they've printed many Silver Surfer Omnis. There's basically the original Stan Lee Omni and the Slott Omni, and that was it until last year. So this is kind of like unprecedented that they're paying attention to him.
I'm all here for it. The more the merrier. Let me get to the next book. How will this affect Blood Hunt? This is the only place you'll find the red band. X Factor to the original X-Men Volume 3. And this is the last of this series. Because after this is the Peter David stuff. Or all new X Factor. Which I don't know.
Peter David, then Joe Quesada.
Yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. I'm curious how all of that will... I'm sure we'll do an episode on how all of that will be handled one day.
Yeah.
This is collecting X Factor 51 through 70, annuals 5 and 6, Prisoner of Love,
which is so weird.
I hated that story. So Marvel Fanfare 50, Uncanny X-Men 270 to 273, 278 to 280, which is of course the Extinction Agenda and the Muir Island Saga, and the New Mutants 95 to 97, material from Fantastic Four Annual 23. This is the Days of Future Present, New Mutants Annual 6, X-Men Annual 14, and X-Force Annual 1. Marvel Comics Presents 74, 85 to 92. So glad those are in there. So Those are the Cyclops stories. This book has some of my all-time favorite issues of X-Men, and that is
wow, that is a sentence. Talk more about that.
Seriously, this has X Factor Endgame. Do you remember that? I love X Factor Endgame. Oh my gosh, that like Apocalypse he's like, I'm done with these four fools. No more four horsemen of Apocalypse. From now on, I'm gonna make my own team, and they're gonna be called the Dark Riders. It was Whilce Portacio and Jim Lee plotting these stories, and they came in with this young energy and changing things up. They did a story where what was her name? Opal. Like she's attacked by her ex-boyfriend, who is now part of this, like, what are they called? Cyber Eyes. That's what they were called. But then we get to this. That story was silly, but when we get to this cover right here on issue 66, Apocalypse has his eyes on Cyclops' son, and he ends up getting infected with the techno-organic virus. I don't want to give away what happens, but it has one of my favorite moments in X-Men history, and it's a Cyclops moment where Cyclops is fighting Apocalypse for the last time, and he was like, he has this amazing Chris Claremont, by the way, writing the dialogue while Whilce Portacio and Jim Lee are writing the plot, which is just unheard of at that time. We didn't know what was to come later on with Adjectiveless X-Men, but it's when Apocalypse, in his final fight with Cyclops is narrating how the eyes are a window to the soul, and he opens his wide to give Apocalypse a view of his soul. Oh my God, man. As a kid, I was like, this is poetry. I like that story so much. I ripped it off, and I wrote a version of it, and I wrote it for my freshman English class. And my teacher was like, wow, you have such a crazy imagination. I was like, I know. She's like, you create all these characters? And I was like, yeah. She was like, you should be working in movies. I was like, one day. But that's how much I love these books, man. This era was great. Not all of this. There's a lot of hit and miss during this era, but that tail end of X Factor was phenomenal to me. Plus, you have Extinction Agenda. What did you think? I can't wait for you to be like, it was trash.
It was trash. I mean,
what?
Yeah, I just, I really think that the title had fully run out of steam once it got past issue 50. We get back from Judgment War, and it's kind of like, so what are we doing with these characters? Why do we care? We'd already done Fall of the Mutants, we'd already done Inferno, and it kind of just felt like Simonson, who's so good, was like grasping at straws of what to focus on, because we had resolved so much Jean plot, and Jean had been the driver of so much plot in X Factor up until this point that it was like, let's do some Beast and Bobby stuff, and it's like, ooh, there's a reason the original X-Men always get canceled eventually. But I do agree that 60s stuff was amazing. I guess for me, I always kind of classify that almost as being like more Claremontian, because doesn't he like co-plot with them or like write from their ideas or so? I feel like Claremont's got a credit because those is in the Claremont Lee book, right?
Yeah, because he did the dialogue for those
right issues. So like to me, it's like I don't even count them as they're like almost like 0.1 issues of Uncanny X-Men where he's like
they're
weaving all this stuff together.
Volume 2 of X-Men by Claremont and Lee. Does this make that book obsolete? I don't know.
No. It certainly doesn't. But I mean, anyway, you cite that there's 8 issues of X Factor in that book, and those are the 8 good issues of X Factor here, and the 10 issues of X Factor here that are new to collection. I do not care about. And Prisoner of Love. Picture it. Me and my then 7-year-old.
It's got a good Butch Guy's heart.
I do like rest in peace. But me and my 7-8-year-old were reading through all of X-Men, and I'm like, oh, there's a whole story about Beast, and she's like, I love Beast. And so then we open up Prisoner of Love. I'm like, I wonder what it'll be about. Maybe. And she's like, maybe I'll have a girlfriend. And then we read that kinky nonsense.
It was kinky. How were you not into that?
I didn't know what I was getting into.
It was so dumb. This also has the Judgment War. Remember how long we've been fighting for Judgment War to be collected?
No, Judgment War ends with 50.
Oh, okay. This is the aftermath. No,
yeah.
Wait. 40. Inferno's 40. No, you're right. Yeah, 41 is. You're right. It does end with 50. Holy shit, there is a lot of filler at the beginning of this. What do you have? Mesmero showing up, more of the return of Infectia, Bobby meeting Opal. No, there is some good stuff in there too with between Warren and Charlotte. I always liked Charlotte Jones. I thought
Charlotte's good. Charlotte's a good character.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Very opposite opinions.
Sorry.
On this
people are just listening to us like, oh, let me tell you why it sucks or why it's good.
We've had quite a few disagreements in here. We disagreed on the Ghost Rider too. We have a couple things that we're on opposite sides about in this.
That's why I love you, man. Because we rarely agree. When we agree on something, I have a feeling everyone hates it. Like, it's whatever we love. Everybody's like, dude, that book was trash. New Avengers, Volume 3, collecting issues 1 through 34. 16.1, Avengers Assemble an Oral History of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. This is the second era of New Avengers. I know people are like, oh, I wish they had mapped it together with the Avengers. That was on like Mighty Avengers, New Avengers, with Avengers. Here's the thing. The problem was they had already mapped that New Avengers book. And I did. I suggested that to them. But it's so easy for them.
They're two very different runs. And this is more in the spirit of New Avengers, the name New Avengers, the street level quality of New Avengers. This is that. The other Avengers book is Bendis doing Cosmic Avengers, not as successfully as he was doing street level Avengers. I was a longtime advocate of marry them together. Now that they've gone and done it and separated them, I honestly can't argue.
Okay. I still think they belong together. I still think we would have benefited from this line just being called Avengers, like the heroic age, or Avengers, the Dark Reign era. That way you have those issues. Like the issues were intertwining when they were crossover with Mighty Avengers. But the problem was that they had already had a new Avengers Omnibus. There was this is before, of course, I started talking to them. They had already had a Secret Invasion Omnibus. I think if they had to do it from scratch, like they would have done it like X-Men Blue and Gold. Let's put these books together and just call it Avengers.
And maybe one day we'll get them. No, I think it's fine. I think it'd be really jarring to read them back and forth. The reading order is kooky. The other book is like about cosmic infinity stones and stuff. This is about like walking around the street and fighting with the Hood. Like they're just very different comic books.
I think
we're just gonna have to agree to disagree.
Okay. I don't like this era at all. Like I thought it was okay. I like a lot of the talent for the art that went into this era, but I also know the importance of this era for people. And I also know how damn well this era sold. This was the flagship title at Marvel Comics. It wasn't X-Men. It wasn't Spider-Man. It was Avengers. It was Bendis Avengers. And that's what was hot and that's what was selling. And then after this, he went over to X-Men because of AVX. One of my favorites. Spider-Woman.
Love this.
I can't believe they did it all in one. Holy crap, this is a big book.
It's a big one. This is going to be one of the biggest omnibuses.
This is the one that I'm waiting an answer on, adding those issues of X-Men. Marvel Spotlight 32, Marvel 2-in-1, 29 through 33. Let me double check what I asked for. Spider-Woman 1 through 50, Avengers 240 to 240. I'm so glad that's in there. Avengers Annual 10 and material for What If 17. This is going to be a big book. Ranked 52 last year. I love this stuff.
They could get that Uncanny X-Men issue in there, but I think that ship has sailed.
Hold on. They're still thinking about it. It's the last.
All right. I won't get ahead of myself.
Let me see what I asked for, just to double check, because I sent in the reprint stuff. I'm just looking at my past emails. Let me see. Passed along the note for New Mutants and Spider-Woman. Okay, so I asked for Uncanny 148 and Marvel Team Up 97. There we go. So the note has been passed. It's already a big book. I mean, they could very well, like, are you out of your mind? Did he not see how big this was? He wants it bigger? For the same price? What? It's not that huge. Most issues were 17 pages stories. Okay, well, now, Derek.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope it has the letter pages. That would be great.
Am I going to buy this? This will be my 4th format that I own this in, like a freak.
You have the Masterworks?
I have the Masterworks, I have the Essentials, and I have this entire run in floppies.
You really like Spider-Woman.
I just like Marvel's 70s women heroes. I just think that it's such a fun era. As they're trying to figure out what it's about, I mean, you have to think this lasted for 50 issues. I mean, because she had a cartoon briefly and like she, the spider branding. Ms. Marvel only lasted 23 issues. And so, what I always say about this is you kind of see it go through layers. They have different ideas. Like she's a counter-terrorist. She's a detective. She's a superhero. She's crawling on walls. She's in San Francisco. She's like,
they were
trying to make things stick.
Yeah.
But that's the fun of it to me. It's like, it's not just one big 50-issue saga. It's like a lot of little ideas about what to do with Spider-Woman. And like, as somebody who grew up with Bronze Age comics, to me, that's a fun comic book to read.
And this has a lot of different creators. It's got Wolfman, it's got Mark Grunwald, it's got Chris Claremont. So a lot of it has to do with that. Every creator wanted to come in and do something different with it. And Claremont was like, let's introduce an X-Men mutant character in there called Siren, and we'll show her in the pages. She could be Banshee's daughter. And of all places, appearing in Spider-Woman, making me seek out issues like that. Just like I seeked out issues of Miss Marvel to find the first appearance of who? Peter?
Mystique,
who made it first?
Deathbird.
Yep, Deathbird and Mystique. Venom War, collecting Venom War 1 through 5, Venom 35 through 39, Venom War Spider-Man 1 through 4, Venom War Lethal Protectors 1 through 3, Venom War Fantastic Four 1, Venom War It's Jeff, the Wolverine miniseries, the Deadpool miniseries, the Carnage miniseries, Zombie.
Is that what they call him in the Carnage region of France? What
I was thinking of the Tailspin, the Don Carnage. Oh wait, that's not how you pronounce it. The Venom War Zombiotes, and the Venomous 1 through 3, Black Widow Venomous, and Venom War Daredevil. This is the tail end of the Al Ewing first wave of Venom. And people were like, why didn't they collect Al Ewing's run? This is very similar to what they did in King in Black. King in Black came out, and then what was supposed to be a couple months later. But then I think because of delays and everything, they came out kind of like the same month. King in Black and Donny Cates' Venom. But I'm sure we'll get it. It's Venom. It's Al Ewing. He's a big seller. What really trips me out is in this one, I no longer get into the whole, I'm going to email them about the covers. People are complaining about the covers. Let's change it. That ship has sailed. I don't do that anymore because people lost their damn minds with Thor by Jason Aaron, and I got them to change the covers twice. The second time they were like, you know what? No, this is the last time we're changing it. Like, and at that point, I'm like, I gotta choose my battles. I either get them to change a cover, or I get them to change content. I'm not doing covers anymore. But as much as I like Carlos Gomez, that cover of Venom War on the right, I don't want to give it away. This is like the all new era cover. This is like the final.
It's kind of like teasing a thing that doesn't come to fruition in the story.
Yeah, the cover on the left, killer.
You've heard me be positive and spin things positively on many books in this stream. I don't know if I can on this one, only because none of the tie-ins really do anything. Like the story is very much in Venom and Venom War itself, which much like King in Black will absolutely be in an Al Ewing Venom omnibus. There's no way it skips it. It just is not going to. I mean, I guess it could, but Marvel hasn't done that recently. All of these tie-ins just amount to nothing. Some of them are kind of fun to read, but like they just exist to be tie-ins with the word Venom in the title. The Wolverine one is nothing. The Black Widow one is nothing. None of them do anything. So it's kind of just like I cannot imagine wanting to read this again. I read it once. They're all checked off in my reading order to, I just cannot imagine going back to it. And I would absolutely read King in Black again. I would absolutely read Absolute Carnage again. I just don't see it for this. Marvel puts every event in omnibus. I'm glad we're not skipping one. I'm not saying I'm upset for the people who enjoyed this, but if you're looking for like a crisis recommendation to the general fan, I think just stick with the main Venom book. There's nothing in these tie-ins that is critical for your enjoyment or understanding.
And that's the way I feel about like Spider-Man Gang War. Almost Daredevil, Devil's Reign. Feel like the main story really is what you needed, and the tie-ins add really nothing other than it's got that banner of a tie-in and you go and get it. Out of these tie-ins, Which one did I like? I think I liked the Lethal Protectors one. And
That was fun.
Because it was Silver Sable.
I always take some Silver Sable. What was the one with Shocker and She-Hulk in the bar? That was fun.
Wasn't that part of the Lethal Protectors?
Was it in Lethal Protectors? It was like a backup or something. Probably Rip on Arts. Probably what.
Or no, that was Zombiettes.
Yeah, Zombiettes. That was fun, but I just like the.
I agree.
Yeah. So I'm not saying it was horrible. I'm just saying, like, wow, that's an omnibus. I mean, I cannot imagine sitting down and reading it cover to cover. God bless them. Go with grace.
I feel the same about Dark Crisis when that omnibus hits. That's gonna be a rough read for me. I read that stuff in trade. Okay. Killer covers, at least. The Fantastic Four by Dan Slott, Volume 2. Collecting the rest of his run, 25 through 48. Reckoning War, Trial of the Watcher, and Road Trip #1. The only thing that's missing from this era is that little miniseries by Peter David, and that's it. That's all it's missing. I had no idea this was ranked so high. Well, #1 was ranked at 71 last year, and we're getting 1 here in a month and 2 towards the end. I like the stuff at the beginning more than I like the stuff at the end. Even though Reckoning War was being built up since the days of his run on She-Hulk. Not in your face, but there were some things and elements that were in She-Hulk that come back to play in the Reckoning War. And I appreciated that. It's Dan Slott, of course, doing the Slott verse. But, I thought Reckoning War was okay. What did you think?
Pass.
Okay. Not for you. Not for everybody.
Yeah, I just, to me, Fantastic Four is a book about family, and I want to see all of the family shine and be treated with a lot of grace and love. Not saying that they can't do stupid things and make bad decisions. And I just don't think Dan Slott was ever there to write the whole family. I think the Thing and Human Torch really shine, and the Richards are very much an afterthought because that's just how Dan Slott was oriented, and that's fine. And if you like Dan Slott writing Torch and Thing, you will enjoy this.
I like the first part of this run. The second part was just okay. This is this is the proper cover too for Star Wars. I think when I made the video, they had approved another cover, and this is the actual cover. So the cover on the left is the standard. The cover on the right is the direct market cover. This is the most let me see. It is the #1 most requested omnibus for the Dark Horse era from the comment section that I've seen over the years, which is really interesting because I think when people came to vote, Menace Revealed actually had a higher.
Right. We always got shit from certain parties that we put them both in the poll because they're like, they're never going to put this out like before they're done both, because Menace Revealed is going to be 2 volumes, right?
2 volumes
am I wrong?
Each. No, yeah. 2 volumes each. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so I was like, I don't know. Clone Wars is really popular. I think there's always the chance that they might just jump ahead and do Clone Wars. Whoa. And so I think, I don't even know.
My life. What's happening here?
No, actually, I think that's true. Actually, yeah. I agree. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna mute your ass. No, you do not get to finish that statement. That's ridiculous. Do not. No.
You see what direction the greater than symbols were going in, right?
Yes, I did.
Teach that over there?
No. We can rate Fantastic Four another day.
All right, rank your Fantastic Four. Yeah, I mean, this is hot. This is what everybody wants. This is the hotness. This is the cool stuff. This is where the action is. This is, again, that the Dark Horse version of the prequel stuff is so good.
This is the Clone Wars, which is something we all, ever since we heard those words, Father fought in the Clone Wars, like we all in our head made these like fantasies about how grand this era was going to be. And what the fuck just happened in the chat? What? Okay, I'm gonna start banning people. You are out here fucking. But this stuff has been collected, as well as the Menace Revealed, in epic format. So now we're getting an omnibus format. There'll be a total of 2, And it is the one that, a lot of people have been wanting. When are we going to get it? When are we going to get it? Interesting enough, this is another one that 3 years ago, they had it on the list of books that I was going to announce. And then they decided to take it off at not the last minute, about a month before everything was finalized. I even had the content. So the content, I think, if I went back, looked the same.
And that's why I've always said, you vote for it independently. Like, Clone Wars is a big enough brand name that they do not need to wait to get to it with sequential omnibuses beforehand. But here we are.
All right, let's move on to New Mutants. Oh, so happy about this.
I can't believe it. Like, I really have to like pinch myself a little bit that it's real and that they're doing it.
The hardest part is gonna like what cover, because both are so iconic to me. When I was, man, it's so hard to describe the feeling when you're a kid and these books were coming out. New Mutants 86 to 100, New Mutants annual numbers 5 through 7, New Mutants summer special number 1, Uncanny X-Men 270 to 272, X Factor 60 to 62, Reign of Terra, material from Fantastic Four annual 23, X Factor annuals 5 through 6, X-Men annuals 14 through 15, New Warriors annual 1, Marvel Comics presents 71, 79, and 121. I suggested adding a couple things. Some things they said no to already, like I think it was, or they had taken it out of the suggestion, which was the Cable Ghost Rider Marvel Comics presents issues. But it was passed along to add the Firestar story from Marvel Comics Presents. I'm trying to remember what issues those are. 82 to 87. And then the Selene story from the Marvel Comics Presents 78 and 89. Those were my suggestions for additions that they're still thinking about.
But, I feel like because so much of this is duplicative. I mean, it has all of Extinction Agenda, and it has Kings of Pain, and it has the future, present, and it has the last 3 issues, which are in the X-Force Omnibus. Like, any excuse you can take to shove some more stuff in here, just to make it like a little more unique and a little bit different. I think you
don't collect those. There's nowhere else to put the Selene story.
Yeah.
Nowhere else to put the Firestar story. It has to be included in here, is my way of thinking about it.
And again, I think it just makes this all the more special for people who stuck with it and are going to buy a volume 4. Yeah. Also, and you know that I am not, actually, this is not the artist I think it was. I love that New Mutants summer special, which we have never had in oversized before. It's by Ann Nocenti, so of course it is deeply, deeply weird. And it's got Brett Blevins art, and it's like this weird comment on like the media and like how the media like constitutes our reality. It's almost like talking about social media like 15 years before we had social media. I think it's really cool and really clever, and it's never been an oversized before.
What is up, Lance? How are you doing, dude? I hope you enjoyed your steak the other night. I made it to the stream. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank God for Kings of Pain. I thought I missed the collect. Sarcasm, my friend. Somebody just said Kings of Pain is terrible. Kings of Pain have one of the coolest villains. Harness. I wish that character would come back just because that outfit was so awesome. Piecemeal, go to hell. Proteus, sure.
Just talk about wholesale lifting a plot from Legion of Superheroes. It's just matter-eating lad on a leash.
Thank you, Shalom. Where is New Warriors Omnibus Volume 4? I'm gonna map my damn.
Or New Warriors Omnibus Volume 0, the New Warriors Origins.
Okay, and then you could put the Firestar comics in there for Marvel Comics Presents.
And Speedball,
So somebody was asking a question about how did they become X-Force? How does the New Mutants transform into X-Force? Is it because of Cable? Yeah, Cable jumps in with issue 87, immediately helps the kids out, and he is somewhat of a father figure to them, because during this time, I think editorial was like, what are we going to do with Magneto? Is he really going to be a good guy? Let's make him change alliances, like back and forth. He ended up hanging out with the Hellfire Club, went fist to fist with the Black King, because he was the White King of the Hellfire Club for a while. But Cable shows up during or right after the Acts of Vengeance, and we had already gotten rid of some of the New Mutants during this time. It's also important to know that during this time, some of the exterminators became New Mutants full time, like Boom Boom, like Richter, like Rusty.
As Kid Crisis loves to point out, I got schooled the other day. She said, there's going to be more of the exterminators in that omnibus. And I said, there's not more exterminators, Kid Crisis. It's only those 4 issues. She goes, I didn't mean issues. I meant the team integrates with New Mutants.
Thank you, Kid Crisis, for correcting Peter. She's doing my job. My job. Okay.
Wait, I have to. This is too good to not share. She started her own reading club with one of her classmates who had seen magic in like Marvel Rivals or something. And when she heard that Kid Crisis knows X-Men, she was like, oh, can you explain magic? So Kid Crisis basically made a magic reading order. And now she has a weekly meeting with her where she's guiding her through the magic issues on Marvel Unlimited. Look this is what I've brought.
That's adorable, dude. That's what it's about, man. The next generation.
I'm sure a bunch of you would subscribe to her Magic Reading Club too. If I made it public, I'm sure we could get a whole lot of Marvel Rivals players in the Magic Reading Club.
Doing it, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Cable's way of thinking is a lot different. Like, and at the very beginning, it wasn't really fleshed out why Cable was here, but it was always cool back in the day to be like, oh my God, Wolverine knows this guy. He's like, what are you doing here, bub? And Cable knew him. He's like, what's going on, Logan? It's been a long time. And you're like, where's that story? When is that going to happen? So a lot of the kids don't like that, is what happens. A lot of the kids are like, I'm not with this guy. Rain ends up staying in Genosha after the Extinction Agenda. Richter's like, I'm in love with Rain. I'm going to go after her. Sunspot's like, my dad just died of a heart attack. And Cable's like, so? You know that meme from Tombstone where they're leaving and he's like, well, bye. Yeah, that's what Cable does. Like, Cable's like, well, bye. Like, the Sunspot who just lost his dad. So the kids are like, what the hell are we going to do? Everybody's leaving. So Cable's like, I'm going to recruit some new members. You all remember good old Thunderbird's brother Warpath? He's going to join the team. My buddy Domino over here. Maybe not Domino.
Maybe. And then Shatterstar just shows up.
Shatterstar Barrel comes out of the sewers. You're like, who the hell wears gloves when she's got claws? This is ridiculous. And then he's like, we're going to become a military force. We don't need X-Men. We don't need X-Factor. We need an X-Force. And that is sort of the origin of X-Force, which
there you go. Now you don't need to buy the book, unfortunately. Omar just told you the whole thing.
Everything.
And you know what? I mean, we could wax. This is a run that Omar and I could probably do an hour just extemporaneously talking about. The thing that I will say about it is it really does kind of mimic this idea of like growing apart from your high school friends. Like they all went to a school. Everything was great, especially if your high school friends really went through something, whether it was like a tragedy of somebody passing away or somebody, like having cancer or something, or a scandal, or even like a positive thing where you all did like a project together or you were in the school play together and then you kind of like drift apart. It really, after Inferno, it kind of captures that where like they all realized maybe they didn't have that much in common other than school anyway. And then when this new figure comes into their life, it's kind of like you really see people, it kind of really mimics that everybody kind of going off and doing their own thing. And this core of people are like the core of people that stick together and then they become X-Force. And in rereading it, which I have with Kid Crisis, it really strikes me that it's, even though it seems so abrupt when Omar talks about it, and even it kind of feels abrupt in the comic, life is abrupt in that way, really, when you're in those ages of like 15 to 18 or 19. And I think that it reads very authentically when I go back and read it, even though a lot of it was being done, obviously, for shock value and to kind of get into the extreme 90s. So that's my philosophical take on it.
Yeah, and, Liefeld's art was a lot different than the art we had at the time. We had Brett Blevins, whom I absolutely love his art, but Liefeld brought in this new energy, like Jim Lee brought a new energy, like Whilce Portacio brought in new energy that we hadn't really seen. And, I think people nowadays like to poke fun at Liefeld for lack of feet or pouches, and he's kind of in on the joke a lot of times. But back then, man, to be so young, he was a force to be reckoned with. It was crazy. He was just coming and creating characters left and right, kind of like Eric Larson did.
Oh, I'll say it 100 times. Liefeld is one of the best idea guys. Don't let him draw it or write it. But like, if you just want to like have some crazy, weird ass, cool ideas, Liefeld just shits ideas. Like, he doesn't even try. He just, like, not to say that they're bad. It's an involuntary mechanism of his way of living. He's just like, what if somebody was from the future? What if there was a girl who was a cat? What if this guy had double-bladed swords? Like, there's just constant ideas.
When Shatterstar's edgy ass stabs himself to stab the dude that's holding him.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And they're like, yo, dude, what's wrong with you? And he's like, whatever it takes to survive. You're like, yo, that dude's the man.
And then they made him gay, and Liefeld lost his mind. Let's go to the next sound of us.
Did he? I didn't hear about that one. But I do. Oh, come on. What kind of adventures were him and Richter going on? We knew what those two dudes were doing. They just couldn't do it back in the day because of editors. Old Man Logan. Here we go. Wolverine 66 to 72. Wolverine, Old Man Logan, Giant Size #1, where it all comes to an end. And then, whoa, no, we still have more Old Man Logan stories with the Secret Wars 2015, 1-5. And then Jeff Lemire continues the story that Brian Michael Bendis started with that Secret Wars with the artist Andre Sorrentino. Issues 1-24 collected in here. It is crazy that both years it was ranked number 49.
Yeah. Omar, a lot of people have pointed this out. People on Reddit said, make sure you ask Omar. So Shalom Warburg, speaking up for the Reddit citizenry. Does Marvel know that the Wolverine Old Man Logan Omnibus Volume 1 standard cover is the same as the Secret Wars Battle World Omnibus Volume 3 direct market cover?
Oh, shit. No, they changed it. They changed the direct market cover. It's in my video. I forgot my video wasn't published today because we're doing this. My video will come out tomorrow or Wednesday. But yeah, they changed it. It's not that cover anymore. You
heard that, Reddit? I asked.
Is Reddit watching? Okay. Who are you talking to?
Are you watching Reddit? Are you watching right now? Don't record this.
So Volume 1 will be the Jeff Lemire stuff. Volume 2, I assume, will be the Ed Brisson stuff with Dead Man Logan added to it to wrap up this era.
Yeah. I mean, it's a perfect break. People are like saying like, oh, I wish I could have fit it all in. No, because the difference is that all of this is just Old Man Logan exploring the world. It's first him kind of coming out of his retirement and exploring the world in that Miller series. Then it's Bendis writing the Secret Wars series, where he's kind of exploring the idea of adjacent worlds. Of course, he has an awareness of that because he had been in the X-Men, and this Logan canonically has the history that we know him to have with the X-Men up until the bad stuff happened that launched the Wastelanders side continuity. But he's kind of exploring all of these different universes where things could have gone really differently. And then he's in R616 and he's exploring, wow, this is a version of the X-Men that still exists and still thriving, which has departed a little bit from the X-Men that I remember being in. So that's what this is. You'll get a complete story. There's no cliffhanger. It's totally readable on its own. You didn't even need to call it Volume 1. It could have been Old Man Logan, the origin of Old Man Logan, or Old Man Logan Beginnings or something. If you don't want to kind of read about the fall of Old Man Logan or the return of Old Man Logan to the Wasteland, you don't have to get Volume 2. Alternately, if you just want to see him steered back to the Wasteland, you already have the Old Man Logan original Miller stuff in its own hardcover or in the Miller Omnibus. You don't necessarily need this volume. You could just pick up Volume 2 to kind of see how they get him back there. So they actually function pretty independently of each other, and you could absolutely pick up one without the other. I'm not the world's biggest Lemire fan, but I did recently reread this because I made a guide to it. And I do think what's cool is that Lemire very methodically kind of takes him through meeting the modern day analogs of the characters from Miller's run. So he meets Kate Bishop as Hawkeye. He meets Amadeus Cho as Hulk. And it's fun because we're contrasting this old version of Logan against these younger legacy versions of all of the heroes that he's friends with in the Wastelands. And that's really kind of what forms the back half of this book.
Yeah, because he has a death list. Like, you'll see.
Oh yeah, people he needs to kill in order to make it so that his future doesn't happen. Yeah,
he wants to make sure his future doesn't happen, so he's gonna go one by one killing them. Kind of weird to do that on your arm when you know you're a healer, but
yeah,
I know this is the one that a lot of people really wanted. People love I'm one of the few people that does not like Old Man Logan. I have never liked Old Man.
I have no use for him.
Not just the character. I just never liked the Mark Miller story. Beautiful artwork, absolutely beautiful artwork by Steve McNiven. Sorrentino, very hit and miss with me. I don't think his superhero work is his best. I like his independent stuff more. when it's got more of a horror take on it. But yeah, so take it as you will. But I know people are excited for this. It means a lot to people. This was a really good run to a lot of people.
And also, having done the reading order for it, this all does read sequentially really well. Some people are like, well, why did they include the Miller? The Miller's already in the Miller Omnibus. But it's like, the Bendis book very...
people. While you're talking... How are you replying to people while you're talking?
I have ADHD. Because what was I saying? Oh, but these series, this all reads sequentially. He goes right from the end of his series to the Bendis series. I think there's one short story that later got inserted in between them. He goes right from literally the last panel of the Bendis series into the beginning of the Lemire series. Like these want to be read together.
Thought Omar would like this because he can relate to being an old man. I'm getting there. Getting there. Maybe we'll have an old man omnibus one day and they can add old lady Laura to it. Per my Wolverine greatest hits from the X-Title Omnis, they could call it Wolverine the best there is. No one will remember the shitty 2010 series. Peter and I have actually...
I will, because that's my favorite Wolverine series. Joke's on you,
It's so shitty. Thank you. I hate that story. And he's like, I love it. And I remember him... We argued over that in My Ex Wolverine because, gosh, that was so bad. The way he was everywhere in that 2016-2018 era, extraordinary. X-Men Gold, Weapon X. Marvel couldn't even keep from having a Logan in the books for a year. And then he just kind of went away. It was crazy how hot a character is, and then they just disappear.
But the thing is, I love this because he's a character with an arc. And are they eventually going to bring him back again? Of course they will.
Probably.
But he has a complete arc. He goes through things, he learns, he grows, he changes. This old dog learns new tricks, and then they put the old dog to bed. And sometimes it's nice to have a character that has an arc and the arc ends. That's a good thing.
All right. Wolverine was in so many books and he wasn't even alive during this time. We had old man Logan and Laura replacing him. Oh, look at this. Peter, run this. Run here. I had to make that this.
Get us out of the way. Nobody cares about my beautiful face right now. They want to see books. So, are you going to do that? There you go. Okay. So I know that everybody loves our Tiger Eyes poll, and a lot of people are like, well, Marvel's not making all the stuff that we wanted. Look, Marvel very generally tends to do about a third of the top 60 of the Tiger Eyes poll every year. Is that correlation or causation? We cannot say, because certainly they have some of the next slate of year's books planned already by the time we do the Tiger Eyes poll. But sometimes the Tiger Eyes poll can influence some of the later books in the year. Sometimes. So here's last year's top 60, and the ones in the green are the ones that are announced. Not all of them are from this video. Some of them happened earlier in the year, like Dawn of X Volume 2, like Amazing Spider-Man The Gauntlet, which is actually Brand New Day Volume 3. But we got exactly 20 books out of the top 60. And many of the other books we talked about today, as you saw in the rankings, were just outside of the top 60. I think we had one that was 62, one that was in the 70s. So there's plenty of very popular books that Marvel have announced, but this is actually about par for the course. This is what we generally see every year. So I know it's easy to cherry pick and say, oh, Marvel skipped all the most demanded books. No, they did number 2. They did 3 out of the top 10. They did 20 out of the top 60. I think if there's anything to say that they kind of went a little bit soft on the top 20 compared to previous years, but that's in part because this top 20 had 2 Indiana Jones books, Akira and Aliens vs. Predators, some of which might be a little bit outside of their control to put out a book of right this moment. So at the point that a quarter of the top 20 was kind of like licensed properties, not all of that is something Marvel can just drop on a dime to release. So yeah, I mean, I can't say it any more times. This is exactly the kind of pace we'd expect. They're listening. Whether that listening is a causation or correlation, we cannot say, but we got fully a third of the top 60.
And I will add one more thing. I was told just recently that they're still thinking about the last month, what to add, and that's it. That's all I can say.
Wait. Say that was too cryptic. Try again. What are you trying to say?
I'm trying to be cryptic. They said they're looking at the last month. December only had 4 books.
Oh, so there might be one more secret December book. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
We will see.
Omar, if we were to look at this and you picked one book that was not in this year's lineup that you would want to be the first omnibus of 2027, what would you pick?
Oh shit, Akira, the Marvel Epic color. I already have the black and white, but it means a lot to me. I love that era. This is coming from a guy that calls himself the Uncanny Omar, not the Canada Omar. I just love that series, and I think having it in color is just that's so rare. It's one of those. It's never gonna happen. Rom, Godzilla, Micronauts type of rare. I would love to see that. Non-licensed stuff. I mean, I love the fact that we wrapped up Excalibur. We wrapped up New Mutants. That's amazing, man. X Factor didn't rank, huh? Kyle and Yos, X-Force.
That's what I was gonna say.
I love that.
That's insane to me that book does not exist. It's a one and done. It's Wolverine as a lead character of a team that does murder. It's an easy book to sell to everyone. I don't know what they're waiting for, especially if Wolverine's going to be in the Avengers movie. Like, let's get a book with Wolverine on the cover murdering people out there.
Who do you know on the inside?
I don't know. I'm just saying I literally do not. I'm done with Marvel spoilers. They can do whatever they want in the movies. But yeah, to me, it's that X-Force book. It's insane that it does not exist. Insane. Crazy. Wild. Inconceivable.
Where do you know if Marvel's going to restock or reprint Spectacular Spider-Man by J.M. DeMatteis and Buscema? It was out of print before it. Yeah, it was. I remember because I told people. I like to tell people ahead of time in case it's a most wanted book. Let me see how my one-on-ones go with them at Comics Pro, and I hope to find out more things, Samantha. That's one that gets brought up quite often, and I know, we just lost our pal Sal, and a lot of people missed out on it, so I would like that. I think Nam eventually went out of print too, Volume 1, both covers did. Promise me Marvel never reprints Trouble. Excellent stream, thank you. Crisis. I can't say never. I'm sure we'll get Trouble back again. And yeah, I love talking comics with Peter, so this is always a blast. No X-Force by Yos, X-Men by Carrier, X-Fraction. Well, that's I think
we're getting there. We're inching ever closer. Yeah.
Peter and I differ with Fractions X-Men, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm a frack apologist. I'm a fracker.
I did not like it, but that's a story for another day. Trouble Treasury Edition. Crisis has been here the whole time.
The whole time.
the Nocenti came and went, but that one didn't sell out at the distribution for a little bit. Whereas J.M. DeMatteis' Spectacular Spider-Man, the standard cover was gone before it even came out, like 2 weeks before it even came out. I'm happy for X Factor OG Team Volume 3. Guys, did the X Factor by Peter David Volume 1 first print had a yellow discoloration? So,
Peter said that.
Yeah, I remember, of all people, it was Curtis that told me about that. By the way, Peter, out of all the books that we went through, what are you most excited about?
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Let me get. There's a couple of questions that I feel like we're going to lose them if we don't get them first. But just put a pin in that for one moment. Somebody, and I'm so sorry, I can't find the comment right now. But somebody was asking if you could go back up to. Oh, it's not actually in this one. Never mind. It's not. It's people was asking what's the difference between Messiah Complex and the Messiah Trilogy. The Messiah Trilogy Omnibus, another one of the most asked questions. It wasn't in the set of announcements. It was already announced by us previously. The Messiah Trilogy Omnibus has all of Messiah Complex, all of Messiah War, and all of Second Coming. It doesn't have any connective tissue between them. It is those three OHCs and a little pinch of extra material from the Second Coming Revelations OHC together in one book. It's as if they put all three of Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War, and Infinity Crusade in one book, just with like the direct issues of like Warlock and the Infinity Watch. It's that same model.
They
Marvel,
the Hellhound, and
yes, which was in the Second Coming Revelations hardcover. Marvel very rarely does that. The only two examples I can think of is when they did the Infinity Saga by Hickman and Starlin. That's one book where they took like two stories and made them kiss. And then they also did that with Spider-Geddon, right? There's like an omnibus of that.
The proper reading order too. It's beautiful,
right?
Now.
But those are that's usually Marvel doesn't do that, where they take like different stories from different times that have connective tissue in the middle and kind of just mush them. So that's what that trilogy book is. Does that trilogy book mean that they're not going to reprint those stories when they get to them in order and the other? We don't know. We don't know. We can't speculate. No one knows. Because technically Second Coming could appear in full in a Matt Fraction omnibus, but it wasn't in his trades. But at that time, Marvel wasn't really into putting full events into trades. At that time, they were doing that in separate X-Men milestones trades. Whereas now with the Epic collections, we've now seen Executioner's Song and Extinction Agenda in multiple Epic collections. So we truly don't know, but that is what the omnibus is, for those of you who are wondering, because now I realize why I put that back up. People were saying, well, wait, that's on here twice. It says X-Men Messiah Complex here at number 5, 2007, 2008. And then down here at 47, it says X-Men the Messiah trilogy crossovers 2007 to 2010. That's the difference. The Messiah Complex omnibus would have stuff from the Messiah Complex period. Messiah trilogy crossovers, which is what we got, which was all 3 of those crossovers separately. Okay, wow. Now let's go through and talk about our most anticipated book.
Well, let me answer this one. Where's the Magneto War? Did that make it in the top 60?
No, but they probably will this year, because now that we've got, Road to Onslaught 2 and Gambit.
Yeah,
because those you can see Road to Onslaught number 2 is in number 48. Trial of Gambit is in 56. Now that we've got those 2, the next 2 sequential books are those books. So I would not be shocked to see them in the top 60.
I don't think Iron Man 114 was added. Yeah. Okay. Peter, what are you most, and anybody that is watching right now, what are you most excited for out of this batch of announcements?
You might have to quickly fly through from the beginning, Omar. It's been a long stream.
It has been a long stream. It's what we do best. Okay.
It's what we do best.
Beginning. All right. So we've got Punisher Fury Max, Ultraman, Captain America Volume 5, Star Wars Legends newspaper strips, Daredevil by Nocenti and Romita Jr. Volume 2, Ultimate X-Men Omnibus 4, Spider-Man by Zeb Wells Omnibus 2, Star Wars Dark Droids, and please, if you're watching now, write what you're most excited for. The Marvel Fanfare Omnibus Volume 3, because I will go back and highlight everybody's comment. The Blue and Gold Blood Ties, which is Blue and Gold Volume 3, Reign of X Omnibus Volume 1, Star Wars Poe Dameron, Zdarsky Spidey, new printing, Daredevil 4, The Way of X, the Nightcrawler Saga by Simon Spurrier, Omnibus as we call it, the X-Men Legacy Legion new printing, the X-Men Age of Krakoa by Kieran Gillen with added material, Blood Hunt with added material, Ghost Rider by Benjamin Percy, Ghost Rider by Danny, or not by Danny Ketch, with Danny Ketch, Volume 3, Star Wars Legends and Menace Revealed, Volume 1, Uncanny X-Men Volume 6, Silver Surfer, The Infinity Gauntlet, or Silver Surfer Volume 3, X-Factor, The Original X-Men Volume 3, New Avengers Volume 3, Spider-Woman, Venom War, Fantastic Four by Dan Slott Volume 2, Star Wars Legends, The Clone Wars Volume 1, New Mutants Volume 4, and Wolverine, Old Man Logan Volume 1. Chat, what are you most excited for? Peter, what are you most excited for, buddy? One book.
You know, what's really interesting is so many of the big ones here are ones that we have in other formats, like Spider-Woman, we have in Masterworks, X-Factor, we have some of which in Epic, New Mutants, but you know, it's kind of like a lot of these are upgrades to Omnibus rather than omnibuses of brand new material, because honestly, we're running out of brand new material that's never been omnibus, that's never been anywhere before. I guess if I had to pick one that I'm really excited for, I guess I have to say New Mutants, just because some of those issues have never been an oversized before. I love the summer special. I want it completely on my shelf. Kid Crisis literally is like, where is it? When's it getting here? I want it. Bring it to my room. So I think probably for me, New Mutants Volume 4. Is that my favorite material in this catalog? No, my favorite material in this catalog is Krakoa by Gillen and Krakoa by Spurrier. But I think in the long run, I'm going to be an anthology line bestie. So I wouldn't pick up those 2 books. I think they're the best stuff in this group, though. What about you, Omar?
I think it's a toss-up between this and Spider-Woman. I love the fact we're getting Spider-Woman.
Wow, I'm surprised you have Spider-Woman that high. Didn't know you were that hyped for it. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I love it.
I have put it in my top 20 most wanted in the past. Mine is actually mapped very similar to this, what they ended up doing. I think I added those issues of Uncanny X-Men in that issue of Marvel Team Up. But yeah, it's something I've always wanted. And having it really, really like just one omnibus is insane. The hard part about this, which cover, Peter? I'm gonna go with 98.
The cable cover. Absolutely the cable. I just think the cable cover, even though I don't like floating head compositions, I like that the floating heads are characterized within the target of his gun and that they're all like reacting to him. So it's almost like the opposite. Usually you when you're looking at somebody through a gun, you're observing their face, but here he's like observing them reacting to him. And they're kind of like all, I just think it's really clever. It like subverts the things I don't usually like about that kind of a composition and actually makes them a very clever, fun to look at composition. Whereas the other one,
I'm inking it too.
Yeah, I think that really makes a difference because McFarlane inking him has a much more fluid line than when you look at him. That other cover is way too close to being a collage. Like it's all of them looking as if they're like a bunch of heads, like opening a door and looking through it. But then Deadpool's standing in the door, except for he's standing actually a distance away from them because he's as big as their heads. And then Gideon is standing behind Deadpool, but it's just like a little confusing to me.
Yeah, so he just got out of the shower, man. Who did Deadpool just shoot? That's the question. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 98.
Anyway.
98 for me. I love the look on Boom Boom's face. Sam is over the top. Both covers. This was a tough one. Like which cover? All right, let me check what the chat is thinking. All right, here we go. Let me get to the beginning here. Are you allowed to say my full name on the live stream, even though I'm not affiliated with Marvel? The Marvel Omnibus I.
Careful, they might hit you with a restraining order.
Speaking of full name, I did make a promise to somebody that I would say happy birthday today. So happy birthday to Patrick Harvey. Happy birthday, buddy. And a belated happy birthday to my buddy Steven Ellis, who helps out on the channel a lot too. Let me see here. Been here the whole time. Sam, put trouble in Marvel. No, we're not doing that. I'm in the train for X-Force. Okay. X-Men Blue and Gold is probably what I want the most. Messiah trilogy is a bad book. The trilogy. Well, if you missed out on the oversized hardcovers, it's great.
It's 3 very cool stories. The reason people are saying it's a bad book is because we just want all of the stuff between the stories. But like the stories are great. There's nothing wrong with the stories.
Okay, I'm trying to find where everybody's putting their books. Okay, I think I found it. Spider-Woman, Danny Ketch, Volume 3, X-Men, Volume 6, Spider-Woman. I'm excited for Blood Hunt. You better be Hunter. Daredevil by Nocenti, Omar and Peter, Volume 1. Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much for that. Now I'm thinking about the Spectacular Spider-Man by Chip. New Mutants Volume 4, Spider-Woman, Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky. New Mutants Volume 4, of course. Spider-Woman, Blood Ties, and all the Krakoa anthology Omnis. Spider-Woman, Punisher, Fury, and Fanfare 3. New Mutants, Silver Surfer, Spider-Woman, Clone Wars. I did not get my Black Widow, Captain America Omni yet. I am curious if the spines are going to actually say Captain America, Black Widow, and if the variant is going to say Black Widow, Captain America.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That would be really cool. But I don't know if the designers would do that because it would piss off a lot of the book market. Age of Krakoa, Daredevil by Nocenti, and Nightcrawler by Spurrier. Spider-Woman, Old Man Logan, Blood Tie, Silver Surfer, Infinity Gauntlet, Punisher, Fury, Max, Spider-Woman, Clone Wars, Blue and Gold, Blood Ties, Ghost Rider 3, Marvel Fanfare. And let's see here. Even though X Factor 3 isn't the best of the books, it's got some great stuff in there, despite what Peter says. He's wrong a lot of the time, though. Ghost Rider, Danny Ketch, Way of X, Blood Ties, Spider-Man by Chip Zdarsky, Kieran Gillen, Krakoa, X-Men Legacy. Legion. Oh, you got me excited. Legion.
I was like, X-Men Legacy. Where did you get that? Where was that?
Uncanny X-Men 6.
Sorry.
God, my poor bank account. Most excited for Punisher, Fury, Max, because it's rare to get any Punisher on these. That is true. And definitely most excited for Blue and Gold, Blood Ties, Reign of X, Volume 1, Gillen, Age of Krakoa, Nocenti, Volume 2, Ghost Rider by Percy. I know Chubby Ray's excited about that. He made a damn Was it a TikTok video, like your reaction video to Ghost Rider by Percy? I know he's super excited about it. X Factor Volume 3 and the Clone Wars, New Avengers Volume 3, Way of X, Gillen Krakoa, and Spider-Woman. 90s baby, DD Nocenti, Silver Surfer Infinity Gauntlet, X-Men Blue and Gold. That is a 90s baby. Wait, where's New Mutants though? Way of X, Omni, and Gillen's Omnibus. Fanfare and Reign of X. Maybe the Poe Dameron, Spider-Woman, Legion, and Ultimate X-Men 4, New Mutants 4, and Silver Surfer.
This is a pretty widespread. I feel like usually there's like one or two books that are like the one that everybody was waiting for. I feel like we've seen some people say almost every book.
You are right. New Avengers, Spider-Woman, X-Men 4, Spider-Woman, New Avengers. We're all buying Cap Volume 5 so they can announce Volume 6. Silver Surfer Menace revealed, New Avengers 3, Ultraman Momoko cover, and Danny Ketch Volume 3, Spider-Woman. Most excited for Zdarsky Daredevil, or I'm sorry, Spidey reprint, Daredevil 4, DD Nocenti, and Spidey by Wells, and Spider-Woman. If I had to choose one, it would be New Mutants Omnibus Volume 4. Looking forward to Marvel Fanfare, Way of X, Blood Hunt, and all the Ghost Riders. Danny Ketch, Spider-Woman, and Ghost Rider, and X Factor Original Years. Gillen and Spurrier's book, Spider-Woman, Blood Ties, Reign of X Volume 1, and the cable cover, Blood Ties.
Yes.
Number 1 and 2, Nocenti, and then Spider-Woman.
So much Spider-Woman love. I love Jessica Drew. She's one of my favorite comic book characters. I love her origin. I just love that she's not the same here. There's no other hero quite the same as her at Marvel. She's like really quite unique. I mean, she's kind of a little bit similar to Rogue in a way that she like grew up a baddie and then became good, but it's at a very different way than Rogue. And I just really love Jessica Drew. Yeah.
That type of baddie, not the other type of baddie. Got it.
No.
It's been a while since we've seen a Deadpool omnibus. You are absolutely right. And we have enough material for a modern era Omni. Punisher, Fury, Max, and Clone Wars. Actually, you're right. Louise Simonson's last issue was issue number 97. 98 is Pure Life, and of course the wonderful Fabian Nicieza. Richter's hair really pisses me off. Wait, I gotta look at Richter's. Is that when he has the faux hawk? What's going on with? Yes, dude, kids are wearing that hairdo now.
Then again, man, the youth there are some crazy hairdos in New Zealand. Teenage boys are really into mullet. Every version of a mullet you can imagine.
What is happening? You're making Ryan so happy. He gets his mullet finally.
Oh my gosh. Just mullets that are like half a mullet on one side and shaved on the other half. Mullets that are like long hair high, shaved underneath. Mullets that are shaved on the top, long hair underneath. Like every possible kind of mullet.
I didn't know that we had more.
I didn't know there were so many.
I remember the Simon and Garfunkel balding mullet that they were still doing. Hold on a second. I'll get X Factor, Captain America, and Daredevil. I do not work for Marvel Comics. No, I am just a YouTuber, but I am very blessed that I get to talk to publishers and sometimes get things changed or added or things into the catalog. I am a voice of the people, as my wife likes to say it.
I would like to work for Todd McFarlane. Tell him that I'm available as an editor. I can sign on at any time. I
still have his phone number. The person that was his agent like ghosted me a couple of years ago, and then I think she was let go eventually, and somebody else is there now. I need to probably.
Little did I realize I had an in through Omar to achieving my dream of becoming Todd McFarlane's editor, but now I feel like it actually could happen.
Todd Father, you remember me? This is Omar. I'm the one that told you to start reprinting your books. You were like, "No, man, nobody wants them."
And now you're making money hand over fist because people are obsessed with them.
Right?
All Omar should take a cut.
On, everybody. Omar and Peter, thanks for everything you do. Much love, and much love back to you, man, and everybody watching. Thank you all so much. Omar,
okay, this one, hold on. This one has been sitting for like 10 minutes. He's been so patient. And this, we'll ask Omar too, even though it's addressed to me. What is your favorite part of Bendis's Avengers, not counting Dark? Also, did we like his post-Siege Avengers of the two titles side by side, of which we're getting one? since I knew that was coming, I'll answer first and then Omar could answer. So I really like the beginning as he's like assembling the team. I just think it's such a big brain take to be like, why wouldn't we not have Luke Cage? Let's find a way to use Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. Like, I just, this idea of what the Avengers were, he didn't just disassemble the Avengers. He disassembled this idea that the Avengers could only be this big kind of huge, almost like too big to fail team. And I just think that that's so genius. That's what's great about Bendis is he challenges the norm that you would assume about a character, sometimes to the character's detriment in the long run. But like that beginning part is so fun to me. And I love it so much. And you said I can't say Dark Avengers. I do love Dark Avengers. Yeah, I just think the beginning, the first 30 issues of New Avengers to me are just so readable. I gave him the Kid Crisis, and she's like, I don't want to read that. I want X-Men. I said, look, I promise you, if you start reading from Disassembled, I gave her Disassembled and basically the contents of the first omnibus, but I have it in hardcovers, and House of M. And I was like, you're going to love this. I came 40 minutes later, she's on the bed crying. She's like, I can't believe what they did to Hawkeye. I'm like, I told you would like it. I told you. So now, it's fun read. It's fun to read. Anyway, Omar, what's your favorite part of Bend Avengers?
You tell her Uncanny Omar said he also can't believe they gave Hawkeye horrible dialogue. Like, not like this, like this. Get out of here, Bendis. Okay. I actually agree with Peter. Like, taking a bunch of characters and killing half the team off to build a new team is something that happens in comics all the time.
Yeah.
Probably you're going to kill off the characters you're not familiar with. You can't get their voices down. So long, Hawkeye. So long, who the hell is Jack of Hearts? Doesn't matter. He's already dead anyway. But I have to say, he was always teamed up with a really good artist. And David Finch, he, even though he really didn't see himself as a superstar back then, he was a great artist. He wasn't the greatest at people. Oh yeah, like he wasn't the greatest.
I think he does that widescreen stuff better than Hitch, honestly.
Well, yeah, by that time, we had evolved that widescreen look to art, and he was one of those guys that could do it. As long as there's action and that kinetic energy going. But if it's people sitting around eating donuts and talking heads, I think he had a hard time drawing that stuff, and that's a very Bendis thing. I like the idea of putting Wolverine and Spider-Man on a title. Why the hell not? Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman have been in the Justice League. This is something that Marvel should have been doing. So I did like that aspect of it. And the first few issues of New Avengers were fun. Going back and rereading them, distancing myself years of like angry young 20-something-year-old. It's like, I can't believe they're giving this guy the Avengers. But he was the formula that Marvel needed. He was hot, man, and people were buying it up. So much so that we got Mighty Avengers and then Dark Avengers, and then it got revamped. It was crazy. Those books were outselling anything. It's nuts. Wanted to pop in and say thank you both. How have you been, dude? I haven't seen you for a minute. It's always been great. Omar, with all this talk of New Mutants and X-Force, what would you say is the best X-Force run for beginners? Oh, the Niciesa stuff. I love that stuff. So more books
Uncanny X-Force
have been announced than 1 through 30. Probably.
Yes, this year that is the case.
Yes. Can't decide which cover I want for Blood Ties and Reign of X. Now, Blood Ties the wedding cover is a classic by Andy Kubert. I love that issue. Issue 30 is one of my favorites. And what's the other one? It's the
other one is the Romita flashback issue cover.
Oh, that's pretty. Okay, that is pretty cool. You got the engagement issue with the missing dialogue, or this will be fixed, and then you'll have the wedding issue. Man, I love that. That way, I told you this, right, Peter? That I have borrowed from this for my wedding vows, like my own wedding vows.
I think you did say that. Yes.
I told that to Baby Niciesa, and he was like, "Oh my god, and she still married you?" And I was like, "Yes." Swooped her off her feet.
Fun nerd fact, my wedding vows included Battlestar Galactica. My second mention of it this stream, actually.
The original Battlestar?
No. Reboot, 2004.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good. Speaking of things,
possibly my favorite television show of all time.
See, I love that series when it first came out. I don't think I made it past the third season. I don't think I watched the miniseries. Seeing the live stream still going made my day. When I got to the YouTube notification of the live stream, I surely expected it to be over before I got off work. These 2.5 hours flew by. Woo! Well, we are about to wrap up, though. Joe Kelly, Deadpool Omni would be great one of these days. That's been printed. You mean a reprint of that, right?
Yeah, we've got all of Deadpool in Omnibus through 2015.
Yeah. I mean, they were
everything.
ranking them out, man. Omar complimenting Bendis. No, I do. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like, I take everything case by case. It's never across the board for me. There's no one that I think, fuck, wait. Is there something by Daniel Way that I like? Hold on. I was
a pretty thorough Daniel Way hater.
Hold on.
Do you like his Ghost Rider?
No, I hated it. Bullseye. Like he did that Bullseye miniseries. I dug that. Okay. That was good. And aspects of Wolverine I kind of dug, as much as I hate to admit it, because most of it was just not so good. But I do take everything case by case. Mark Miller, like, I'm not the biggest fan of Mark Miller, but I can admit that Magic Order was actually pretty solid. And I love Chrononauts.
I love Magic Order. Yeah. I think also something that people...
War Machine. Love War Machine. I actually dig War Machine.
He's a producer and a writer on Steven Universe. Like, the guy knows what he's doing. I think something that people miss is I think there's a lot too much toxic positivity in comics in general. I think it's good to say when things aren't great and express your opinion. We don't all, just because we all love this industry doesn't mean we all have to say positive things about every single thing. It turns into like a kindergarten graduation ceremony. But I think that like people lose track of, especially with omnibuses, these are not first release trades. Like, trades are going to come out whether the series sucked or not. They're always going to happen. That's why I get so spicy when I'm on the Solicit show. These omnibuses, they wouldn't be coming out if they weren't somebody's favorite. And you saw that in the list of pretty much every book on the stream got named when everybody named their favorites. So it kind of like doesn't do anybody any good for me and Omar to just shit on one of them. And I maybe shit on a couple. Maybe I did a little bit on Venom War, but like it doesn't really get us anything. We're here to tell you, like, you will like this if. So even though I don't like the Ghost Rider by Percy, I truly, truly despise it. I still am here to tell you, you will like this if. And I think it's really easy to like mistake that for like, oh, Christ, there's Crisis shilling a Marvel book. I'm like, no, I'm trying to help people who enjoy this book find it. I agree. There's too much toxic positivity of saying every book is good and everything is worthwhile. No, not every book is good and not every book is worthwhile. But we're here to like make sure people get the omnibuses they want, especially in this world where if you miss the pre-order, you might miss the book. Like, it's really important to think about this stuff before they come out. So that's my little speech.
And so this comment right here is why I don't like, whenever I do overviews, I never give my opinion on an overview. Like, people can usually tell when I'm like, oh my God, this picture of Psylocke coming out of the water is amazing. Anyway, like, they know, usually if people have been watching me for years, they know what I like. But I take myself out of the equation, like, because I know it's somebody's favorite. It means something to somebody, whether it's stuff that I can't stand, like Identity Crisis or Heroes in Crisis or Way's Run. I know it means something to somebody, so I try not to shit, because there's enough of that already. There's enough of YouTubers out there shitting on everything you like, and some people enjoy that, watching people crap on other things that other people enjoy. I think I've outgrown that. I'm not in my edgy young 20s anymore. I'm in my 40s now, and I think I can find good things to say about crap I don't like. I try not to shit.
Also, I think
period.
It's a miracle that any comic book gets made. I mean, there's so little money in the industry. These people are writing whole worlds worth of soap opera that in any other medium would have like a writer's room, and they're doing it by themselves. And then the artists are creating that whole world out of a singular vision, maybe working with an inker, although not much anymore, and with a colorist, and then the letterer giving it voice. It's like the smallest team you can find on any kind of visual creative work. Clearly novelists write novel by themselves, but like I just think any issue of any comic that comes out is a miracle. Even my least favorite comic, even even a Benjamin Percy comic, a Jeff Lemire comic, and Art Adams comics, all these people I like to trash that all of you like, it's still a miracle that they made it, and it's a beautiful thing that we have this art form. So like, you got to look at both sides of that rainbow.
I think it's wonderful. I still think we are living in this is such a golden age of collected editions, and things will keep getting better and better. Books you never thought would ever get made will finally get made in the upcoming years. So, and we're 20 years into Omnis, about really in
that's
America.
the anniversary, I guess.
Yeah. And 22 years into Omnis, and really in America, about 26 years into trades, like heavy trade. Like 2001, 2002 is when both Marvel and DC said, okay, let's put our modern stuff in trades and see how well they sell.
Yeah. I would say that it's 20 years omnibuses, because even though Fantastic Four Volume 1 and the original Barnes & Noble Ultimate Spider-Man came out earlier, 2006 was the year that they were like, okay, we're doing this. Like Alias, Uncanny X-Men, New X-Men, like that was the year that they're like, this is really a format. So I do feel like we should have a 20-year anniversary celebration for the Marvel Omnibuses this year.
Yes, let's get really drunk, Peter. I'll fly you to America. I'll fly you to America. You better drink with me. Justice for Black.
No, man. Coffee.
Fine.
Or we could both. Well, I was gonna say something I can't say on air.
New from Marvel, the second X-Men Blue and Gold Omnibus, but don't call it Volume 2.
None of them are going to be called Volume 2. They know none of them have volume numbers.
Yeah, what did we call? No, the next one is Blood Ties. What would the second one? I mean, they couldn't call it Blue and Gold Fatal Attractions. That would just be so confusing.
They can't call it Fatal, and they can't call it Shattershot. That would be confusing too.
Why not?
No,
they can call it Shattershot.
Because there's already a Shattershot hardcover.
Yeah, but who cares? It's not an omnibus format.
I think they call it Blue and Gold Legacy.
Legacy?
No, because that's confusing because of X-Men Legacy. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. What is it going to be called?
Yeah, you come over too, man. You come out. I'm gonna fly. We're gonna get Peter to drink with us. Coffee is better than alcohol. Well, good for you. And Danny Catch Volume 3. William, most excited for. Christ, I take it you saw the Chaos Comics news.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Can we talk about this for 60 seconds? I know it's a Marvel stream. I did a Lady Get Death guide at the end of last year.
You didn't even let me answer. Okay, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Oh, do you not even know what we're talking? You know what we're talking
about.
No,
of course I do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they had broken out the news. I knew the Dynamite.
Well, they put out a press release that there's going to be a Kickstarter that will lead to a number of Kickstarters for all of the classic Chaos Comics characters. So Evil Ernie, Lady Death, Purgatory. And I went back through a lot of those comics. I have some of them. I read some of them. I wound up breaking down and buying a few of them that I didn't have. That early stuff, it was just so fun. It was such a fully realized world that was like, it was a heavy metal world. It was like a Megadeth album cover as a comic book world. And it kills me that there's no classic Lady Death because there's so much good stuff. And finally, I'd get to disprove people who think it was a book all about her having breasts. No, there was story. So I am so hyped. I will be there on #1 as the #1 pledger for the Lady Death, classic Kickstarters. I absolutely adore that material. I'll buy Evil Ernie. I'll buy all of it. And I'll be so happy to have it on my bookshelf. Dream come true. My biggest wish for 2026 came true in February.
The Chaos books, especially Lady Death, is a case of never judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
I did judge the book by its cover, and I was disappointed that there's an actual story in there and not giant movie like I wanted to see as a teenager.
Well, there were plenty of swimsuit issues and plenty of pinup issues if you were just looking to judge or do anything else with the covers. There was plenty of material for you.
I got excited when Brian Pulido did a Kickstarter for Lady Death, but it turned out to be his new stuff through his company.
I know, and I've bought and read all the new stuff. But anyway, so okay, that was maybe more like 120 seconds. But yeah, I'm hype. I'll be here on the internet talking about it when it gets here.
We unfortunately can't because we got lives to leave, and that's not fun. No, it's boring stuff. I got to get ready for my trip. I got to film 2 more videos tomorrow. I got to edit this stuff, make sure everything's fine while I'm at Comics Pro, and I might be able to film some stuff there. They still haven't decided because because all it is publishers and retailers. That's it. And I get to meet like.
How did you get invited?
They asked me to be a part of a panel about hair products. Like, don't you know how pissed you would be if they asked me, of all people, or makeup? You would kill me. You would fly to Kentucky, kill me, and go over. No, it's about YouTube.
I'm just saying, if Marvel does a makeup collab and you get a comp and I don't, then it's on site.
No, nothing to do with that. It's about not quite influencers, but how retail. I mean, it's a very smart panel. I don't know why the hell I was invited. Retailers and publishers and influencers and fans kind of all work together, because we live in different times now. Now we have access to a lot of free market research because of influencers on not just on YouTube, but also TikTok and things like that. So it's a pretty cool panel, and I think we can record it, so that would be really great. But that is it for us, though. Peter, where can people find you when you're not hanging out with me, buddy?
I am found at crushingcrisis.com. It's my home on the web for over 25 years, and it has detailed guides on how to collect the vast majority of the Marvel universe, as well as DC and some indie books as well, including for Patreon subscribers, things like a complete guide to every issue of Lady Death ever in excruciatingly researched reading order. I will be back here a lot in the next few months here on Near Mint Condition as we get into the poll season. Right now, if you have not voted yet, go and vote on the epic reprint poll. Tell Marvel which epics you would like to see reprinted the most. I'm really struggling with my votes. And then we'll see you soon for a Marvel Omnibus reprint poll. And then finally the Marvel Tiger Eyes poll before we get into the DC side. I will be MIA for a couple weeks because I do have to get some medical things done to fix all of my broken bits that happened during my triathlon training. So, but never fear, I will be back in time for Tiger Eyes.
And this Saturday Morning Fan has been asking about this, and I said, "Ooh, remind me on Mondays, for example, I have Peter on, and we can add that to the poll." But this is for stuff that's never been collected by Marvel Comics. It's
well, I mean, Silver. I don't know Spider-Man and the Outlaws. There is a Silver Sable in the Wild Pack Omnibus, but what is Spider-Man and the Outlaws?
Something we need to research.
You got to send me a DM. We'll figure it out.
Okay,
it's got to be in something.
Figure that out. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for the kind words. Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out Peter's reading guides. And when is the next live stream? Saturday. It will be Dom and friends, and maybe me, depending on how much I get done on Friday over there, whatever I was doing on Friday. Take care. And yes, have a great surgery. Fast time healing. Whatever Wolverine would say.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Have a great evening, morning, wherever you are. We are out of here.